A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
The Jack Benny Program, presented by Lucky Strike. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. Yes, let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. And that's because LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco that gives you smoothness and mildness. And no wonder, for years, Lucky Strike has maintained America's largest and most complete cigarette research laboratory. Prior to the auctions, the buyers for Lucky Strike send sample tobacco leaves from all tobacco-growing areas to this great laboratory for scientific analysis, to help determine which tobaccos are really fine. And this is only one phase of the constant research that helps guarantee smoothness and mildness in every single Lucky Strike you smoke. So, smoke a Lucky. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw. Make your next carton Lucky Strike.
The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester Dempsey, and yours truly, Don Wilson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, once again it is my pleasure to introduce the star of our show. And since today is March the 5th...
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? This is Phil Harris, the one and only...
Phil. That introduction was for me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dad, but when Donzie said 5th, I just naturally opened my mouth.
Well, cork it up again and sit down. Continue, Don.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the month of March. And as you all know, March comes in like a lion and goes out like a ham. And here he is... Jack Benny.
Thank you. This is Jack Benny talking, and Donzie boy, for your information, the word is lamb, not ham.
Oh, I know, Jack. I was only trying to be cute.
Well, Don, when I want something your size to be cute, I'll get an elephant that toe dances. So the next time...
Oh, Jack, let's not start off the program with an argument.
Mary, please. I'm admonishing Don for being overly facetious. That new writer I've got is working out swell. Anyway, Don, there are more interesting things to talk about in the month of March.
Oh, you're right, Jack. I guess I could have talked about March 21st.
Yes, that's the first day of spring.
Or March 17th.
That's St. Patrick's Day.
Or March 15th.
That's... Yikes! Mary, don't make me nervous.
Hey, Jackson, what's so exciting about March the 15th?
Well, since you don't seem to know, Phil, I'll tell you. March 15th is the day you pay your income tax.
Income tax? What's that?
Phil, income tax is a portion of a man's salary that is sent to the government to help the financial support of the country.
Gee, this is interesting.
As a matter of fact, when a man receives a salary check, it already has a basic deduction of 20%.
20%?
That's 1/5.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? This is Phil Harris. Sorry, Dad, it slipped out subconscientiously.
Well, go sit down. Anyway, if I'm going to discuss income tax, I should talk to Alice, not to one of her dependents.
Jack, why do you keep insulting Phil like that? You treat him like he's a nobody. And he's got a lot of talent.
Tell him, Livy, lay it on him.
He has a great personality and a lot of charm.
Loaded with it.
He even writes his own songs and leads a band.
Keep talking, Bon Ami. You ain't scratched the surface.
He also sings and makes records.
Oh, well, won't you come with me to Alabama? Let's go see my dear old mammy.
And not only that, he...
What's the matter?
Just talking about him made me sick.
I know what you mean, Mary. Now, look, kids. Hey, you had a lot to do today, didn't you? Look, kids, let's not waste any more time. I want to see that everything is right before our guest star arrives. As you know, we're going to be honored today by the presence of one of England's most famous daughters, Miss Sarah Churchill.
Oh, she's the daughter of Winston Churchill, isn't she?
Yes, Don, when she gets here, I want everybody on their good behavior. In fact, I made a few notes on that subject. Mary, did I give you the paper with the notes on it?
Well, yes, Jack, here it is.
Good. Read it, will you?
Okay. To the boys in the orchestra. If the musical arrangement calls for the trombone section to be muted, please hold a derby in front of the horn instead of stuffing your socks into it.
That's right. That's right, Mary. Very good, good.
And to those who have no tuxedos, keep your coats buttoned so the bibs to your overalls don't show.
Yeah. And another thing, kids, when Miss Churchill arrives, I want everybody to stand up. Now, come on, let's rehearse it once. Everybody, including the orchestra. Stand up. Very good, very good. Now, sit down. Now, Mary, you're the only girl in the cast, so I think it's up to you. Oh, that must be Miss Churchill now. Come on, everybody. Up. That's it. Good. Coming.
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Come on, kid.
Why is everybody standing up?
Well, that's to show respect.
Well, it's about time. I've got 2 shows, you know.
Sit down, boys. Dennis, for your information, we were expecting Miss Sarah Churchill.
Who's she?
Who's she? Miss Churchill is not only a great actress, but she also happens to be the daughter of Winston Churchill.
Who's he?
Dennis, think back to the years of the war.
Okay.
Now, who was it who went from London to Casablanca? Then the next thing you heard, he was in Paris, Tehran, Yalta, and Potsdam. Now, who was it?
Bob Hope.
Yeah, and Jerry Colonna was in the House of Lords. Anyway, since Bob Hope's daughter, Sarah Churchill, hasn't arrived yet, let's have your song, will
Okay.
you? Okay.
They met in the spring under blossoming trees. A song of romance seemed to dance on the breeze. And who saw him kiss her and whisper of all the blossoms, pretty blossoms on the bough? He left her a dream and a tear in her eye, a kiss on her lips to remember him by. Who said forget him, but didn't say how. The blossoms, pretty blossoms on the bough. Oh, sometimes words may be spoken that later prove untrue, and sometimes a promise is broken as hearts are broken too. A year has gone by, it's springtime again. She waits all alone and she sighs now and then. Who knows her story and weeps with her now? The blossoms, pretty blossoms on the bough.
sung by Dennis Day. And, Dennis, that was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And you want to know something, kid?
What?
I don't mind praising you and giving you compliments because you haven't got a head for it to go to.
Thank you.
And now, oh, kids, I almost forgot. When Miss Churchill gets here, I'm going to invite her over to my house for dinner this evening. I want you all to come.
Well, it's about time, Jackson. I haven't had dinner at your house since September the 10th.
Now, wait a minute, Phil. It hasn't been that long since you've had dinner at my house.
It was September the 10th, and I got the canceled check to prove it.
God, how time flies. Anyway, kids, don't forget to be at my... Oh, that must be Miss Churchill now. All right, everybody. Up. Coming. Well, hello, Miss Churchill.
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Come in, Miss Churchill. Come in.
Mr. Benny, why is the orchestra standing up?
Well, I thought it was a kind of a nice thing to do. You know?
Oh, I see. Thank you. That chap in the Shakespearean costume is rather cute.
The Shakespearean costume?
Yes. That fellow at the drums. He's wearing tights.
Tights? Oh, my goodness, Sammy forgot his pants. Sit down, gentlemen, and fast. Well, Miss Churchill, it's really swell seeing you again. The last time I saw you was during my visit to London.
That's right. You were appearing at the Palladium Theatre.
Yes, and you know, I never did get a chance to thank you. It was nice of you to come backstage to see me.
It was nice of you to ask me.
And it was nice of you to attend my opening.
It was nice of you to sell me a ticket.
Yes. But, gee, I was thrilled in London. All those historical sites there, Buckingham Palace, Westminster Abbey, Piccadilly Circus, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the changing of the...
Mr. Benny.
Uh-huh?
The Leaning Tower of Pisa is in Italy.
Oh. Well, doesn't it lean over into London just a little? You know, maybe a teensy-weensy thing?
I'm afraid not.
Well... Live and learn, I always say. Oh, Miss Churchill, I'd like you to meet the members of my cast. You remember Mary. You met her in London.
Hello, Miss Churchill.
Hello, Mary. Oh, please, everybody call me Sarah.
Well, thank you. And, Sarah, this is my orchestra leader, Phil Harris. I'm sure you remember him. He also appeared with us at the Palladium.
Oh, yes. Old ham hocks and turnip greens.
That's me.
She's proud of it yet. Now, Sarah, this is my announcer, Don Wilson.
Nice meeting you, Mr. Wilson.
Well, I'm thrilled, Miss Churchill, and I'd like to take this opportunity to tell you that I've always been a great admirer of your father.
Well, thank you.
In fact, we all admire your father.
That's right, Mary.
What does he do?
Phil.
I didn't say nothing wrong. What does he do?
He's a painter.
Very good, Sarah, but on him it was lost. Now, let's see. Oh, yes, there's just one more member of the cast I'd like you to meet. This is our singing star, Dennis Day.
Oh, hello, Dennis.
How do you do, Miss Churchill? Beautifully jolly of you to guest on our little wireless jamboree today. You're bubble and squeak and a penny a pitch.
Now, Dennis, be sensible or I'll have to admonish you for being facetious.
What does that mean?
I'm going to crush your head like an egg. So watch it, kid.
By the way, Sarah, are you enjoying your stay in America?
Oh, very much. There are certain things that still puzzle me.
Puzzle you? What are they?
Well, your movies, for instance. Last night I went to see a very funny picture called Francis. It's an amazing story about a talking mule.
A talking mule? Yeah, that is amazing.
Yes. Such grammar.
Grammar?
I know exactly what you mean, sir. I seen Francis, and once when that mule was talking, instead of the past perfect tense, he used the past indicative and wound up with a dangling participle.
Well, now, that's very interesting, Mr. Harris. Are you a student of grammar?
Yes, ma'am. There ain't nothing I don't know about English.
Well, Sarah, now that you've paid us the compliment of being with us today, is there anything we can do to entertain you? Is there anything you'd like to see? One of our sketches or, well, anything?
Well, Jack, I've always listened to your program, and years ago you used to do Western sketches in which you played the part of Buck Benny.
Uh-huh.
Well, I always enjoyed those so much. Would it be possible for you to do one today?
You mean Buck Benny rides again? Why, certainly. Gosh, we haven't done that for so long. It'll be fun for us, too.
But do you think you could find a part in it for me?
You? In a Western? I mean, playing the part of a cowgirl?
Well, Jack, I think I could do it so well you wouldn't even have to admonish me.
Admonish you?
Yes. You've been using that word as though it was something new.
Well, it is to me. You see, I have a new writer now. But there is a part in the sketch of a school marm that I think you would enjoy doing.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
Sarah, I've been meaning to ask you, for being a guest on Jack's program, is he paying you in dollars or pounds?
Well, to be frank, Mary, when I brought up the subject of money, Jack said we could settle that after the show.
Oh, brother.
Why, what's wrong?
Now you're going to find out what your father meant by blood, sweat, and tears.
Mary, stop that. Now, if we're going to do our sketch, let's get started. Now, come on, Don, you set the scene, and then we'll...
Mr. Benny, have you got a part for me in it?
Huh? Oh, Mel Blanc. Now, let's see. Yes, Mel, I may have a part for you, but it won't be very important, you know.
Oh, I don't care. I'll do anything. Really, Mr. Benny, I don't care.
Well, fine, Mel, fine. Now, Don, set the scene. So... Oh, excuse me. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Benny. This is Rochester.
What is it, Rochester?
Just thought I'd tell you I'm preparing the dinner you're giving for Miss Churchill.
Good, good. How's the roast beef coming along?
Pretty good, boss, but I've never seen a piece of meat with so much fat on it.
What are you talking about? That roast wasn't so fat.
It wasn't. When it melted down, I oiled everything in the house, filled the car, and sold the rest to Glenn McCarthy.
Glenn McCarthy?
He's laying a pipeline tomorrow.
Rochester, stop being so silly. And don't forget, when you're making out the place cards, I want Miss Churchill to sit at my right.
Yes.
And by the way, Rochester, did you make that phone call?
Yes, sir. I called Washington like you told me to.
Uh-huh.
But they said that even though you're giving a dinner for someone from Europe, you'll have to pay for it yourself. It has nothing to do with the Marshall Plan.
Well, forget it. It was just a thought. See you later, Rochester. Goodbye.
Oh, say, boss.
Yes?
What time are you going to bring your guests for dinner?
Right after the program.
Oh, then I better go lock the door to the back porch.
Why?
You don't want people coming in to use the Bendix while you've got company.
Well, I don't mind them using the machine, but hanging the clothes in the living room is murder. Last night I had some friends in and we had to watch television through Ronald Coleman's underwear. Anyway, I'm glad you thought of that, Rochester. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Now, let's see. Where were we?
You were getting ready to start the sketch, Buck Benny Rides Again.
Oh, yes. Now, Sarah, the action of our play takes place way out west, where men are men and women are women.
Well, you can't ask for a better arrangement than that.
No, ma'am. All right, Don, set the scene. Buck Benny Rides Again.
Ladies and gentlemen, our play tonight opens at the ranch of that fearless, hard-riding cowboy, Buck Benny. Curtain music.
I'm an old cowhand from the Rio Grande. I learned to ride for I learned to stand, but I can't sing with this lousy band. Yippee-yi-yo-ki-yay. Well, I better mosey down to the corral and see how my foreman, Cassidy, is doing. Oh, here he comes now.
Morning, Buck.
Morning, drag along. Say, Drag, what you blushing about?
Well, just a few minutes ago I did something silly.
What was that?
I was sitting on my horse singing Empty Saddles.
I see what you mean. You're the only man I know who rides side saddle on both sides. Well, I'm going into town. I want to see what's going on at the Golden Nugget. So long, Drag Along.
So long, Buck. Easy getting up on that horse.
Don't worry about me. Steady, boys, steady. Steady there.
Buck, you're supposed to get up on the other side.
Oh, Mel don't care. Steady, boys, steady. There we are. Giddy up, citation. Giddy up. Ah, here's the golden nugget. Whoa, boy. Doggone, just once I'd like to come in through the door. Now, there's my girlfriend, Calamity Livingston. Hiya, Calamity.
Hi, Buick.
Buick? That's Buck.
I'm sorry, those holes in your head fooled me.
Fools everybody. Well, Calamity, how about having a drink with me?
Don't mind if I do.
Good. Bartender, bourbon and water.
What's for the lady?
The water. Stand aside, Calamity. I want to hear some music. I'm going to play that jukebox at the other end of the room.
Have you got a nickel?
Who needs a nickel? See that coin slot?
Yep.
From this valley they say you're going. We shall miss your sweet face and your smile. Just because you are weary and tired, you are changing your range for a while.
Then come sit here a while ere I leave you. Not hasten to bid me adieu. Just remember the Red River Valley and the cowgirl who loved you so true.
Oh, so true. There is never a rough, puffing lucky. It's a cigarette most people buy. 'Cause they're made of that fine like tobacco. Check your taste and your throat, tell you why.
LSN, NFP in the moonlight. LSN, NFP through the day. It's for smoothness and mildness of lucky. LSN, NFP all the way.
All the way. LSN, NFP in Kentucky.
LSN, NFP in Purdue.
LSN, NFP in
Saskatchewan.
Lucky Strike, Lucky Strike, we love you. We really
Well, Buck, how are things down at the... Why, Buck, you're crying.
Them ballads always get me. I guess because I'm the sentimental
Hey,
type.
Buck, I've been looking for you.
What's wrong, Dragalong?
Cattle rustlers just raided the new school marm's place.
Cattle rustlers, doggone, they've been terrorizing this area for nigh on to 20 years. Come on, let's rush over there. See you later, Calamity. There's the schoolmarm's house over yonder. There we are. Whoa!
Ula mai ko dong sang no yang men ko sit ka he thama ko nya thong no thong. Ao o la sắp toi o la ma ling ta pa so ngai long.
Boy, he really threw me that time. Now, how am I ever going to get out of China?
You're not in China. Those are my houseboys.
Oh, who are you, ma'am?
I'm a new schoolma'am, Sarah Jones, whose father has just bought the old Z-Bar Ranch. But the rustlers are trying to steal our cattle to force us to sell the land cheap because they know that the old abandoned mine under it really has a rich vein of gold which we do not know about at all, I reckon.
Well, that takes care of the plot. Can you talk a little more Western?
I sure can, partner.
Huh?
I reckon.
Good, good. Now, what's this I hear about cattle rustlers? They've been a-bothering you?
Yep. They took all my cows except that... Oh, look.
What's wrong?
There's an Indian coming towards us.
Oh, yeah. But he don't look dangerous. I'll talk to him. How?
How?
Me friend.
Me tired. Make long journey. Come all way from Hudson River.
Hudson River? Why they call river Hudson?
You have to step down to get into it.
Oh, well, what do you want?
Nothing. Me just come to do joke. Goodbye.
Just came to do the joke, eh? Watch this, Sarah.
Buck, you shot that poor Indian right through the head.
Oh, Mel don't care. Now tell me, Missy Ma'am, about those rustlers. You see any of them?
Yep, I saw the leader. He's a medium-built fella, kind of cute looking. He's a Mexican.
A Mexican?
Yep, here he comes now.
Whoa, tamale, whoa. Hello, senorita. You too, gringo. Stick up your hands, for I am the Mexican bandit, Senor Deniso McNulty.
Well, you're the bandit, eh?
Si, senor.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, hombre, robbing poor women.
Oh, I cannot help being a bandit, senor.
What do you mean you can't help it?
I won the giant jackpot on the radio quiz program, and I'm doing this to pay the taxes.
Oh.
What you do before you became a bandit?
Oh, senorita, I was a bullfighter. I was the most dashing, the boldest, the fightingest, the most reckless, the bravest, the most fearless bullfighter in all Mexico.
Well, why did you quit?
I'm a little yellow.
Senior McNulty, why don't you reform and get to be an honest citizen like Buck Bentley?
Like him? Ho, ho, ho. I am laughing.
Why? What's wrong with me?
You are supposed to be the great cowboy. Can you roll a cigarette with one hand?
Not on these programs. Now, Deniso, because we're a little late, I'll arrest you in the name of the law.
To arrest me, you must catch me first. Giddy up, tamale, giddy up.
Quick, he went that way. Let's grab our pintos and we can head that hombre off at the pass, partner.
That was my line, Sarah, but you read it swell. Come on. Let's get our horses and chase him. We're a-gaining on him.
Yep. Why do we keep passing the same scenery?
They expect it in Western. Now, where's my gun? We're close enough for me to take a shot at him. I gotta take careful aim now. I got a beat on him. There. Oh.
Buck, what happened?
I shot my own horse. Look, my poor horse is dead.
Well, that's all right. Mel don't care.
Ah, yes. Now, come on, Sarah. Let's go to the Golden Nugget and play the jukebox.
Jack will be back in just a moment, but first...
Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. And that's because LSMFT, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco that gives you smoothness and mildness with never a rough puff. Listen to what Mr. Linwood L. Sturdivant, an independent tobacco warehouseman from Lewisburg, North Carolina, recently said.
I've seen plenty of tobacco bought and sold, about 150 million pounds. And year after year, I've seen Lucky Strike by fine light leaf that makes extra enjoyable smoking. I've smoked Luckies for 11 years.
Millions of smokers, including the famous movie and television star Robert Montgomery, take a tip from the experts and smoke Lucky Strike. Just recently, Mr. Montgomery said, Luckies are really smooth. That's why I smoke them regularly. And for your own real deep-down smoking enjoyment, light up a Lucky. Let your own taste and throat be the judge. For smoothness and mildness, there's never a rough puff in a Lucky Strike. Get a carton today.
Thank you very much, Miss Churchill. Good night, everybody.
Be sure to hear Dennis Day and A Day in the Life of Dennis Day. Stay tuned for the Amos and Andy Show, which follows immediately. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Good health to all from Rexall. It's the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show, presented by the makers of Rexall drug products and 10,000 independent Rexall family druggists.
Good evening. This is your Rexall family druggist with a welcome from all 10,000 of us. The 10,000 independent druggists who have made the word Rexall part of our own store name and placed the famous orange and blue Rexall sign on our windows. We've done that because we believe in the 2,000 or more drug products made by the Rexall Drug Company, and we confidently recommend them to our customers. One of the most famous of these products is Rexall Milk of Magnesia, the popular antacid laxative that's so pure, so exceptionally mild and free from unpleasant earthy taste, even a child can spot the difference. Quality like that is what we family druggists are talking about when we tell you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Good health to all from Rexall. And now your Rexall family druggist brings you the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show. Written by Ray Singer and Dick Chevrolet with Elliot Lewis, Walter Tetley, Robert North, Janine Roos, Ann Whitfield, Walter Sharp and his music, yours truly, Bill Foreman, and starring Alice Faye and Phil Harris. Last week, Mr. Scott's daughter, Marjorie, met Julius Abruzio, the grocery boy, and now she has a terrific crush on him. Alice thinks Marjorie has made an excellent choice. And as we look in, Phil is expressing his opinion.
What does she see in that A&P gypsy? Got absolutely nothing. The poor girl must be out of her mind.
Oh, Phil, you remembered after all these years.
Remembered what?
What Father said to Mother when she told him I was marrying you.
Father said that about me?
Father kept it clean. You should have heard what Uncle Earl said.
Willie, why don't you marry Julius? You and that little baboon deserve each other.
Now listen, from now on, Philip, you'd better treat Julius with respect. He's in a very favorable position with Mr. Scott.
Favorable position, favorable. So what? He can't hurt me. The Rexall people love me. Why, I've been with them for 2 years.
You won't have to work at all next year, Daddy. That's right. Julius said that he's going to see to it that you come into a lot of money.
What money?
He said in September you'll start collecting your unemployment insurance.
He said that, huh?
Philip, this situation might become serious. Mr. Scott thinks Julius is a very intelligent lad, and he listens to all his suggestions.
He does?
Yes.
He really does?
Yes.
Well, do you suppose that he could get Scott to fire me?
Oh, Phil, don't be silly. Mr. Scott wouldn't listen to a child. But if he ever fired you because Julius told him to, I'd lose all respect for him. And I'd tell him so, too. I'd let him know just how I feel
Wait a
about
minute, honey. There's the bell. I'll get it. Hello, Harris. Wow, if it isn't Mr. Scott.
And little me.
Oh, I see you brought your dog, Scotty.
Take it easy, Harris, and watch the way you talk to Mr. Abruzio, an official at a Rexall company.
You're an official?
Yeah. I'm vice president in charge of figuring out a way to get rid of Harris and Limley. From now on, you'll address me as sir.
Address you... Now, look here, Julius.
Julius what?
Julius, you little stinker. Mr. Scott, don't tell me now that he's a member of your company.
Oh, no, of course not, Harris. The boy's just baiting you.
Well, that's...
However, he has made some very sensible suggestions concerning the program.
Well, if he has suggestions that will help the program, I'm more than ready to listen. After all, I'm a fair-minded man. What have you got in mind, son?
Well, I thought...
I don't like it. It won't work, and drop dead.
Let me explain. I have an
Oh, so you're going to use my picture, huh? Now, that I like.
I thought you would, you big ham bone. We're going to print a full-page picture of you with a caption under it advertising the Rexall product.
Well, what does the caption say?
If you look like this, we got something that can cure it.
Mr. Scott, I ain't going to listen to this kid any longer, and I'm not
You listen till I'm finished. I got other suggestions for you. I think during the summer you ought to work in one of our drugstores for experience.
Me work in a drugstore?
Yeah, you can have your choice. We got stores all over the United States, Canada, England.
Look, if you don't stop with these crazy suggestions, I'm going to...
Quiet! I'll banish you to our store in Outer Mongolia.
Julius, please, don't be so... Do we have a store in Outer Mongolia?
Sure. I just sent him a directive telling them to run a giant 1 yen sale.
Look, if you're finished, Abbott and Costello, I'd like to ask you just one thing.
I got no time now. I got to meet Marjorie at the market. In the meantime, Harris, get on the ball. Keep your nose to the grindstone and fight on for dear old Rexall. Fight on for R-E-X.
A-double-L. It rings the bell, it rings the bell, ding dong, it rings the bell, ding dong, it rings the bell, ding dong. What wonderful lyrics. That arrangement ain't bad either.
Well, I'll see you a little later at the board meeting. So long, C.S.
Goodbye, J.A. Oh, that boy has a good mind. It absorbs things. So does a bar rag. Mr. Scott, are you going to let this kid run your business?
He's not running my business, but he has come up with 2 good suggestions concerning you. One, that you and your orchestra rehearse 8 hours every day. And 2, that in the evenings you make personal appearances at our stores to help sales.
Well, that only accounts for my days and evenings. At night, I can come over to your house and do a little of your ironing.
How are you on pleated dress shirts?
I want to tell you just one thing. My contract calls for me to do a radio program, and that kid has no right to come in here and tell me how to do my job.
Phil, who are you yelling at like... Oh, hello, Mr. Scott.
How do you do, Mrs. Harris?
What's going on, Phil?
It's about my job. Mr. Scott came over...
To fire you?
Honey,
Mr. Scott, you ought to be ashamed of yourself firing Phil.
Mrs. Harris...
Why are you trying to get rid of Phil? Give me one reason.
Mr. Harris has...
What do you mean he has no talent?
Give him a chance to answer.
Oh, Phil, don't be a jellyfish. Let me tell you something, Mr. Scott. We don't like your attitude. We don't have to stand for it. We can work for someone else. And Phil quit.
Who quit? Alice, Mr. Scott didn't fire me.
He didn't?
No, he didn't. Look, Mr. Scott, if you want me to rehearse 8 hours a day, okay. But really, I don't need it. Now, look, I'll take this song right here and do it for you without any rehearsal at all, and I'll bet you $10 you'll love it.
Make it 20 and you've got a bet.
In my dreams I seem to hear a whistle shrill, like the whippoorwill and I'm the whippoorwill. In my ears I hear it ringing, and the past to me it is bringing. It reminds me of that dear old Mississippi, when I loaded cotton on that stern wheel ship. rouse the bow, not the bow. Those were the happy days, there's no doubt. On the Mississippi, where those boats go puffing along. On the Mississippi, darkies all go dippy when they hear a little bit of ragtime melody. It seems I hear them singing, see them bucking, winging, to the banjos ringing. Woo, my heart is clinging to the Mississippi, dear old Mississippi. That's where I was born. To see that side, river all a-glistening in the bright moonlight. With my gal again I am strolling, and her eyes at me they are rolling. All along the levee see those darkies prance. Listen to the music, watch that shuffling dance. Lordy me, can't you see that there is only one place for me, and it's on old Mississippi, on that Mississippi where those boats go puffing along. On the Mississippi, darkies all go dippy when they hear a little bit of ragtime melody. It seems I hear them singing, see them bucking, winging, hear those banjos ringing. Woo, my heart is clinging to that Mississippi, dear old Mississippi. That's where I was born.
Well, Mr. Scott, how'd you like that?
As I was saying, I want you to rehearse 8 hours a day, every day. And furthermore, I'd suggest...
Hi, Curly.
Hello, Alice.
Hi, Frank.
Well, if it isn't the Rexall family druggist. Good evening. Hello, Remley. How is the American tragedy feeling today?
Mr. Scott, why is your attitude toward me so venomous? Why do you dislike me so? Why?
Remley, I happen to be fortunate enough to hate you, and I am not going to question my luck.
Mr. Scott, there's no room in this country for a word like hate. You should learn to be tolerant like I am. I don't get along with you, but I don't hate you.
You don't?
No. I just loathe you a little.
Frank, you don't talk that way to Mr. Scott.
Let him talk. Let him talk, Harris. The machinations of his minute mind intrigue me.
What'd you say about my father?
Remley, I'm glad you're here. From now on, I want you to work 8 hours a day, every day.
What a ridiculous idea. You can't order me around, Scotty. I don't need you, and I don't need your job, and I'd quit except for one thing.
What's that?
I need your money.
Remley, as long as you're working for me, you'll do as I say. Goodbye.
Lovely person.
I've had him for an hour.
He has all the charm of a wet sock.
Well, that's all we can use here.
Hey, Curly, where did he get all these silly ideas about work?
Oh, it's Julius's idea.
Oh, Julius.
That's right. Since he's been going with Scott's daughter, he's been doing his best to make it tough for us.
And that little...
And as long as he goes with Marjorie, he'll keep on trying to influence Mr. Scott. And I got news for you. He might even blow our job.
We got to break up their romance.
You said it.
Well, let me see now. When two people are in love, what's the best way to break it up?
Have them marry each other.
What was that, Wonga?
Now, wait. I didn't mean us, darling. We're different. Our love is eternal. And it grows stronger and stronger as time goes on. Because our affinity is a thing of beauty and rapture.
I didn't know you had that in you.
You're no more surprised than I am.
break up Julius and Margie. Nothing scares a young guy quicker than when the girl first mentions marriage.
True.
Julius would drop Marjorie like a hot potato if she were to call him and start talking about their wedding.
That's right you are. But how are we going to get Marjorie to call him?
She don't have to. All we have to do is get another girl to pretend she's Marjorie.
Yeah. Hey, look, we'll get a stooge to call. Some girl who we... Alice. I want you to do me a favor.
What do you got in mind, Mac?
Stop talking like Julius. All I want you to do is to call Julius.
I'm not calling anybody. I'm not going to interfere in any romance, and I don't think you should either.
She never wants to cooperate. I don't know what to do with her.
Have you ever tried beating her?
Frankie, a gentleman doesn't strike a woman. It's crude, it's vulgar, and besides, if I ever tried it, she'd fracture me.
Curly, I know what we can do. You call Julius. Disguise your voice. Tell him it's Marjorie. I'll get him on the phone for you.
Hold it a minute, Brentley. I don't sound like no dame.
Oh, speaking of falsetto, tell him you got a cold. Anything.
Oh, we got to do something. All right, give me the phone.
Hello, Encino Market. Julius speaking.
Hello, Julia.
Guess who this is?
I don't know, lady, but if you're in that much pain, you better call a drugstore.
Don't be a wise guy, darling. Julius, this is Marjorie.
Oh, honey, you gotta stop smoking them nickel cigars. Sound like a man.
Oh, Julius, you're a cod. So funny. I talk like this, dear, because I have a bad cold.
Oh, that's too bad. How'd you catch it?
Rehearsing the wedding march in a drafty church.
What are you rehearsing the wedding march for?
Because I want to be letter perfect, dear, when you and I get married.
Well, I don't blame you. Married? How'd that word slip in?
It didn't slip, lover. I pushed it.
Pick it up and carry it out.
Oh, you don't love me. Boo-hoo. Julius, dear, you have just got to marry me. I just bought a completely new torso.
What a new what?
Hold the wire a minute, sweetheart.
Hey, Remley, how do you pronounce that word?
Trousseau. Correction, darling. I just bought a completely new trousseau. I'll meet you at the church tomorrow. Goodbye, Julia.
But Marjorie! Hello, Marjorie! Marjorie! Oh, why do I have to be so irresistible? I don't want to get married. I just have to be blunt and tell her when I see her. I'll put my foot down and I'll... Hello, Julius. Take your new torso and get out of here!
Julius, what are you talking about?
Just now on the phone you said you wanted to get married, and I turned around and here you,
I wasn't talking to you on the phone.
One of us must be nuts, and it can't be me, because I just came from my psychiatrist.
I just came in. I couldn't have been talking to you.
That's right, but if it wasn't you, what girl did call? Who would be stupid enough to pronounce trousseau as torso?
Bill Harris.
That's the thing! I get it. He was trying to scare me off by making me think you want to rush me into marriage. Your father ought to fire him.
Daddy, you do worse than that. Once when he was angry, he said that if anybody tried to promote my marriage, he'd shoot them.
What a charming thought. Shoot him, huh? Monty, I got an idea. Call your father and tell him to meet us at Mr. Harris's house in about an hour.
What have you got in mind?
Mr. Harris is trying to scare us out of marriage. But if we can convince your father that Harris talked us into it, you'll get into a lot of trouble. Oh, boy, what a way to get even with old Red Eyes.
Hey, you should have heard the way Julius went for that marriage gimmick. All I had to do was mention the word marriage, and he got scared.
Sure. My schemes always work.
Someday your schemes are going to get you fellas into a lot of trouble. That's what happened to my uncle on St. Patrick's Day.
Which uncle, Earl?
No, Clancy, and thanks for the lead-in.
Oh, you.
Now, Clancy was a peaceful man, if you know what I mean. The cops picked up the pieces after Clancy left the scene. He never looked for trouble, that's a fact you can assume. But nevertheless, when trouble would press, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, that Clancy, oh, that Clancy. Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom. Now, old Leary was a fighting man, and they all knew he was tough. He strutted round the neighborhood, shooting off his guff. He picked a fight with Clancy, then a dared he filled his room. Before you could shout, "Oh, Leary, look out!" Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, that Clancy, oh, that Clancy. Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom. Boom, 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 boom. Marjorie walked in through the bar and ordered up a round. He left his drink to telephone, and Clancy drank it down. Marjorie said, "Who drunk me drink, I'll lay him in his tomb." Before you could pat the top of your hat, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, the Clancy, oh, the Clancy. Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom. Boom, 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 boom. Now the neighbors all turned out for Kate who grade his wedding night. McDougal said, "Let's have some fun. I think I'll start a fight." He wrecked the hall, then kissed the bride and pulverized the broom. Then quick as the wind, before you could see, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, that Clancy, oh, that Clancy. Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom. Boom, 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 boom. Clancy lowered the boom. But back of me hang to you.
Hey, that was swell, honey.
Hey, Curly, look who's coming up the walk. Julius and Marjorie.
Together? Uh-oh. Oh, gee, now she must have told him she didn't call him.
So what? Huh? They're playing right into our hands. With a few pointed remarks, we can scare them so bad they'll both be off marriage for life.
Well, I'm not going to stand here and watch this. I'm going inside.
But, Alice, it's a harmless scheme to save our jobs.
Frankie, I think it's a dirty plot, and I won't be a party to it. Goodbye.
Hey, Curly, when the kids come in, we'll really lay the wedding angle on them and watch Julius run.
Okay, but remember now, we got to be subtle about this.
Oh, yeah. Curly, you wait here. I'll let him in.
Hi, Mr. Remley.
Well, if it isn't Julius Abruzio and Mrs. Abruzio.
We ain't married.
Not yet. Take Julius' arm, Marjorie, and follow me into the living room.
Hello, Mr. Harris.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here. I now pronounce you man and wife. That will be $2, please.
Wait a minute.
Train leaving on track 2 for Niagara Falls. Board.
I don't want to go Niagara
Boat
Falls.
sailing for honeymoon cruise to Bermuda. All ashore who's going ashore.
Stop this. I ain't getting married.
That's what you think. Come here, kid. Look, kid. This girl has got her hooks into you. She wants to get married right away.
She does?
Yeah. Scares you, doesn't it?
No. I like the idea.
I knew it would scare you. And what do you mean you like it?
What's your love tonight, Margie? Okay.
Wait a minute. You can't get married.
Why not?
Well, because, well, I... Excuse me a minute while I talk to my dirty plot man. Friendly, I thought you said that they'd play right into our hands.
All right, take it easy. I got a head full of dirty plot. Marjorie, why do you and Julius want to get married?
Because we love each other.
Of all the stupid reasons. Julius, if you want to get married, okay, but why marry a woman?
You got a better substitute?
I'm trying to say is marriage changes a woman. Once she hooks you, she becomes unbearable. She becomes a shrew and a miserable tyrant, didn't Alice Curley?
Frankie, Alice is... Oh, I see what you mean. Alice is a beast, Julius, and I'll prove it to you. Alice, would you come in here, darling? Watch the way she bosses me, the way she tells me what to do.
What did you want, honey?
Can I go out and play poker with the boys tonight?
Oh, why, of course you can, darling.
You see, she's always nagging. I hate to play poker, but she makes me.
You asked me if you could go out tonight, and I think you should go out with the boys. And stay out till 2 o'clock. It's all right with me.
Who are you expecting?
Her mother's coming over.
See, she and her mother are double dating.
That's what marriage is like, Julius. Miss Faye is married to Mr. Harris, but she's running around with another man.
Can you blame her?
No. But look, Julius.
Mr. Harris suggested that we get married and we're going to go through with it. But we've got to pledge you all to secrecy.
Well, why?
Because Mr. Scott said he'd shoot anybody who promoted his daughter's marriage. And seeing as how Mr. Harris suggested this, he...
Julius, wait a minute. I didn't mean to.
Don't worry. How's he going to know? Where would you find anybody nasty enough to tell Mr. Scott?
Tell me what?
That Mr. Harris talked me and Marjorie into getting married.
Married? Julius, you told him.
Yeah, I guess we found somebody nasty enough.
Harris, how could you do a thing like this to my young child? Wait a minute, Mr. Scott. I can explain everything. I don't want your explanation. Trying to marry off my daughter, you marriage broker, you. I ought to...
Stop talking, Pop. There's your target. Start shooting you.
Where's my gun bearer? I'll use 00 bird shot.
Alice and Phil will be back in just a moment. Meanwhile, here's your Rexall family druggist.
I never cease to wonder at the many ways scientists have learned to improve on nature. And it seems to me that Plenamons, Rexall's popular multivitamin capsules, make a pretty good example.
Oh, why? How do you mean?
Well, ma'am, long and careful study of the Plenamons formula has enabled Rexall scientists to make the vitamins it contains more stable than they are in their natural state. For example, the vitamin C in Plenamons is more stable, that is, less liable to lose its full natural potency, than the same amount in orange juice would be shortly after the juice is squeezed from the fresh orange.
Well, how on earth do they do it?
Well, for one thing, the vitamin C contained in Plenamons is protected in the capsule by a special fruit acid which helps keep it at full potency. What's more, Plenamons are carefully fortified, so that when you take them, you should be getting, at the very least, the amount stated on the label.
And are Plenamons easy to take?
Just this easy. The daily dosage is individually sealed in airtight metal foil. You merely break it off day by day, and the remaining capsules stay completely protected.
Say, I'm beginning to think old Mother Nature could take a lesson from Rexall scientists.
Well, ma'am, 10,000 family druggists have learned this. You can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Good health to all from Rexall.
We're a little late, so thanks, and good night, everybody. Good night.
This program was produced and directed by Paul Phillips. Included in today's cast were Gail Gordon and Louise Erickson. The part of Frankie Remley was played by Elliot Lewis, and Julius was played by Walter Tetley. Alice Faye appeared through the courtesy of 20th Century Fox. Whenever you have a headache, remember this about Rexall aspirin. When swallowed with water, the 5 full grains of pure aspirin contained in every Rexall aspirin tablet are ready to go to work for you even before they reach your stomach. So whenever you have a headache, remember that about Rexall aspirin. Ask for it wherever you see the orange and blue Rexall sign on the window. And remember always, you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
gentlemen, the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company of Milwaukee, Wisconsin presents The Halls of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman.
I was curious. I tasted it. Now I know why Schlitz is the beer that made Milwaukee famous.
If you like good beer, you'll find it pays to be curious and learn about Schlitz for yourself. And now, the Halls of Ivy.
The halls of ivy that surround us here today, and we will not forget, though we be far, far away.
Welcome again to Ivy. Ivy College, that is, in the town of Ivy, USA. Spring came to Ivy a few days ago, and in spring, as we all know, a young man's fancy lightly turns to thoughts of love, just as it does in summer and autumn and in winter. Sometimes it doesn't turn lightly at all, but with a resounding crash. And as in many crashes, it's the innocent bystanders who are most shaken up. No bystanders are more innocent this evening than Dr. William Todd Hunter Hall, Ivy's president, and his wife, the former Victoria Cromwell of the English stage. It's shortly after dinner, and Dr. Hall is in his study. Mrs. Hall enters and says,
Was that you making all that racket just now, Toddy darling?
Yes, I was feeling a bit chilly and thought I'd build a fire.
Oh, well, why didn't you?
Well, having cleaned out the ashes, broken up a crate for kindling, and carried in 3 huge logs, I don't feel chilly anymore, just overheated. But don't go yet, Vicki. I've got a problem.
What is it?
Well, I've arranged all the papers on my desk neatly, sharpened all the pencils I could find, changed the ribbon on my typewriter, and cleaned the keys. Now, what else can I do to put off the moment when I have to go to work?
Oh, Toddy, now please buckle down to it. Otherwise you'll be up half the night, and it isn't good for you.
All right, my dear. Very well. Here I go. Hooray, an interruption. I mean, isn't that just too bad? About to... Hello, Dr. Hall speaking. Who? Oh, no, not at all, Brooks. What is it? Yes, of course you may come over. Where are you now? In a few minutes, then. Goodbye.
Who was it?
Young Brooks. Sounded very upset.
Isn't it Professor Quincannon's job to attend to students who sound very upset?
Well, it's little enough for me to do for Ivy's star athlete. But speaking of Professor Quincannon, we had lunch together today, and he reminded me that it is March, and time for us to prepare for our annual kite-flying competition. Won't you come out and watch us?
Well, of course I'll come. But isn't this annual kiting contest among the Ivy faculty a bit juvenile?
Oh, tradition, my dear. As an Englishwoman, you should know about that. England is full of delightful traditions. For example, in the year 1043, an archer stumbled, let loose a shaft which took the King's Chamberlain's prize pig in the left flank, and every year on March the umpteenth, a fast courier rides from Wolverhampton to Windsor Castle with a broken bowstring and a flitch of bacon. That sort of thing.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Like celebrating your American Independence Day by shooting off Chinese fireworks.
Anyway, you know, Professor Quincannon is still convinced he beat me last year because I didn't use the correct amount of string.
Oh, yes. You used too little, didn't you?
Oh, not at all. 900 feet to every 10 square feet of lifting surface. It's a mere matter of correlating the aerodynamic factors with the weight and tensile strength of the string. I worked it out mathematically.
You certainly did. Toddy, when Brooks comes, you will make an effort to keep it short and get to work as soon as you can, now won't you?
Oh, as I promised. But it's important that I see him. Between now and the Easter recess, when the students get a chance to blow off steam, is the most difficult period of the school year. I must do what I can to ease the strain wherever it appears. Yes, what is it, Penny?
Excuse me, sir, but you asked me to look for your kite.
Oh, yes. You found it?
Yes, sir. It's in the attic.
Is it in good condition?
Oh, yes, good as new, except in some respects. I used the cloth for cleaning rags last summer, sir.
Oh, well, that can be replaced. As long as the rest of it's all right.
Oh, it is, except for the frame. I had a need of kindling for the fire last winter.
Oh, no.
And the rest of it is just as you left it.
What rest of it?
The tail, sir. Oh, excuse me, the doorbell.
If it's a Mr. Brooks, Penny, send him in.
Yes, Mum.
Don't be upset, Toddy. Penny wasn't deliberately destructive.
No, she's quite impersonal about it, but so is an earthquake. And the consequences are just as devastating. However, if I remember correctly, I've another old kite in the cellar somewhere. And Oh, come in, Brooks, come in.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Mrs. Hall.
Good evening.
Hope I'm not interrupting something.
No. We were discussing nothing more important than kite flying.
Oh, yes, I remember watching you and Professor Quincannon on the Commons last year. He, outflew you, didn't he?
Well, yes, it so
if
happened
I may
that
suggest, sir, try using a little more string this year.
Oh, thank you. But I've taken the trouble to work it out mathematically.
William, may I remind you that there's a desk full of work waiting for you?
Oh, yes. Well, and what can I do for you, Brooks?
Would you prefer to speak to Dr. Hall alone?
Oh, no, ma'am. I haven't come to talk about myself. It's about my roommate, Merton Savada.
Oh, yes, you remember Savada, Victoria, the child prodigy?
Of course.
Has some friction developed between Savada and you, Brooks?
Oh, no, sir, not at all. As a matter of fact, I think he likes me very much. And I know darned well I like him. He's an awfully good kid, sir.
I rather thought putting you two together was a good idea. You know, it seemed like a natural combination, considering your experience as a counselor in boys' summer camps and his extreme youth. How old is he, by the way? 15?
Yes, sir. And working for his M.A. in physics.
Yes. Well, is Savada in some difficulty?
Yes, sir. I didn't realize it at first. He's such a funny combination of grown-up man and little boy that he takes a lot of figuring out. But he's been acting so strangely the last couple of days.
In what way?
Cutting classes, something he never did before. And sitting up writing almost every night, all night.
Writing? Writing what?
You wouldn't say. And he'd lock everything away in his trunk when he was finished.
Well, now, that's very selfish of him, wasn't it? Who does he think he is to want a little privacy?
Oh, no. Mrs. Hall, I wasn't trying to be snoopy. But I'm worried about the kid. He's in a tailspin, and I want to snap him out of it.
Well, I think that's very commendable, Brooks. That's what roommates are for, to take turns acting as lifeguard when the other member goes off the deep end.
Well, anyway, this morning I found this stuff in his wastebasket. Here.
No, thank you. I'd rather not read it, Brooks. Not being his roommate myself, I must respect his privacy. Just tell me, in general, what it is.
Poetry.
Oh.
Love poetry. It's sickening stuff.
Oh, you men. Well, I've known a lot of boys who wrote poetry. Some of it to me, too, if I do say so myself. And very few of them got fitted for straitjackets. And leave the boy alone. He'll recover.
Well, that's the point, Mrs. Hall. He'll recover too late. I found him packing his trunk when I got back from dinner. He was leaving school. I'm afraid some little bobby soxer has been giving him a rough time.
Oh, good heavens.
Well, I think it's beautiful. It's tragic, but it's beautiful.
I don't know, Victoria. I can only see the tragedy. No schoolboy romance should require such a drastic solution. This takes it out of the comic Valentine class and makes it a serious emotional problem. Where's the boy going, Brooks? His parents are in New Zealand, aren't they?
Yes, sir. He hasn't seen them for 2 years. His father's attached to the American embassy there. But I think he has an aunt and uncle living in Washington.
Excuse me, sir. There's a Merton Savada here to see you.
Oh, well, I suppose you'd better show him in.
Is there any way I can get out through the rear of the house? I don't want the kid to think I've been going behind his back. I mean, especially since I have been going behind his back.
Well, I'll show it to you.
Goodbye, sir, and thank you.
Goodbye. Don't worry about Savada. Trust me.
I do, sir.
Mr. Savada, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, Savada.
Good evening.
This is an unexpected pleasure. Please, sit down.
Thank you. I'll be brief, sir. And then I'll ask a favor, if I may.
Of course. Feel perfectly at home.
I do feel at home. After all, we're both men of the world.
Quite so.
I'm leaving Ivy, sir, tonight.
Oh? The curriculum is not satisfactory?
Perfectly. You realize, sir, that I took my A.B. at Columbia last year.
Yes.
And in one more year, I'd have my master's degree here at Ivy. It's got nothing to do with the school, I assure you. It's just that I'm in an emotional situation that cannot be resolved. Une affaire de cœur. A matter of the heart.
I understand French, Savada. I want you to know that I respect your feeling and your resolve, but that I don't think you ought to consider leaving your studies until you've explored every other possibility, including the asking of advice from an older man. Won't you tell me about it and see if I can help?
Well, I'm in love for the first time in my life. Never even considered it before. Career first. Everything else second was the way I saw it. Ha!
Doesn't the lady return your love?
She doesn't even know I exist.
You've never told her how you felt?
No, sir. It wouldn't help. You see, she loves another man.
Well, you can't be certain of that, you know, until you ask her.
I never thought of that.
Ask her, my boy, ask her.
But what about the other man?
Oh, he'll have to take his chance, just as you do.
You're very wise, sir.
Oh, no, not at all. Now then, would you care to tell me who she is?
Your wife, sir.
Would you mind repeating that?
Your wife, sir. And that brings me to the favor I want to ask. Before leaving, have I your permission to speak to her?
My wife? Mine?
I can understand this comes as a shock to you, and that you naturally wish to discuss this with her before I see her. With your permission, sir, I'll withdraw for a half hour or so and speak to her when I return. Good evening, sir. And thank you.
Vicki! Vicki, where are you? Vicki! Vicki!
I was curious. I tasted it. Now I know why Schlitz is the beer that made Milwaukee famous.
Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman will be back in a moment. Right now, there's just time for you to hear how one man tumbled onto something very interesting.
My friend Jim is always saying, you haven't lived till you've been on skis. Well, I'm inclined to look at it the other way around. Staying alive had always come to me easy, until the day I let Jim talk me into a pair of skis and send me plummeting downhill with no visible means of support. You'll love it were his parting words, but there again we disagreed. Halfway down the hill, I met a sapling, thus ending my short, unhappy career as a skier. I limped back to the lodge where the doctor said it was only a sprain. However, Jim blamed himself for my downfall and kept clucking over me like a mother hen, bringing me pillows, magazines, and several bottles of Schlitz beer. I'd never tasted Schlitz before, but the good things I've heard about it had me smacking my lips before I tried it. My first swallow told me that here was a beer that more than lived up to its advance notices. Here was a beer so fine, not even a radio announcer's best adjectives could do justice to its flavor. Yes, getting acquainted with Schlitz was more than worth the few bruises that brought it about. No wonder they call Schlitz the beer that made Milwaukee famous.
That surround us here today.
As we return to the halls of Ivy, where a triangle has developed on the quadrangle, we find Dr. Hall torn between amusement and concern as he says,
Have you any idea of what you're going to say, Victoria? How you're going to carry it off?
Not the slightest, William. Well, I suppose I could say, I'm sorry, Merton, I'm already bespoke. But I'd like you to think of me as your sister. That's a little wheaty, isn't it?
The word is corny, Victoria. Well, first you say, how do you do? Then you say something about the weather. Then after that you just improvise.
Now, why couldn't I have thought of that?
Oh, my dear, I'm certain you'll handle it very well. You've met situations just as difficult with tact and dexterity.
Name one.
Well, the faculty tea, for instance, a few days after I first brought you to Ivy. You told me you'd never been so fearful in your life.
Oh, I remember. Oh, Toddy, I was so afraid they wouldn't like me. I thought to myself, one look at me and Toddy's career suffers a 30 or 40-year setback. An actress in these sedate surroundings. and a musical comedy actress at that.
Well, I don't mind telling you now, after so many years, that it was a crucial moment in my life, too. Will you ever forget that short walk from our house to the faculty club? It was an evening in May, as I recall, and you seemed perfectly all right, until we closed our front door behind us, and then... What is it, Vicki? Why have you stopped?
Oh, please. Let's go back into the house. I simply can't face all those strangers.
They're not strangers, darling. I've known some of them a dozen years.
Well, I've hardly been here a week, and I've never seen any of them before in my life. Please, Toddy, we can telephone. We can make some excuse.
Oh, darling.
It's going to be dreadful. There'll be a murmur of conversation until I appear, and then it will die away as that battery of eyes converges on me. Toddy, I just can't go in there and open cold.
No, look. How would you like me to go in first? Doing a buck and wing. I can be singing, hello, hello, there's going to be a show. That might warm them up.
Toddy, don't laugh at me. Not when I'm feeling so inadequate.
Ah, you've no reason to. They'll all adore you. You'll be the loveliest woman present.
I can imagine how much the wives of the faculty members will adore the loveliest woman present. Toddy, let's go back. Well, at least let me change my gown.
But it's a beautiful gown.
Yeah, but it is too beautiful. Let me change to something simpler. But brogans and a pair of overalls, perhaps. I just don't want to be resented. I'm the strange bird in the barnyard, and I don't want to be pecked at.
Vicki, you're not going to be pecked at. You are impeccable. Ho, ho, ho. No, darling. You're going in wearing that gown, and everyone will gasp with admiration, and I'll be the proudest man there. Sailor, I have spoken. Now, give me your hand.
I feel as though I were on my way to the gallows, and I didn't even have time to eat a hearty meal. And I've forgotten everything you've told me about who's who.
Well, the head of my department is Dean Gurney. He resembles a bilious pigeon.
Oh, yes, you told me. I remember I associated his name with crusts of bread, because one does feed pigeons crusts of bread, doesn't one?
That's right.
Well, thank heaven I'm certain about one thing. One does feed pigeons crusts of bread. How do you do, Dean Gurney? Do have a crust of bread.
No.
Merely associating. And then I should say to him, please introduce me to your wife. I've heard so much about her.
No, I wouldn't, darling. Inasmuch as she left him to marry a prize fighter, I feel it would strike rather at silly. I told you, don't you remember?
No. Oh, Toddy, I don't remember anything. Not anything at all. What shall I do?
Vicki, I love you. One unkind word or glance directed at you, and I shall ask the entire faculty to step outside en masse. And remember this, my darling. No appointment, no job is worth more to me than the smile on your face, the happiness in your heart, and above all, the gay and gallant spirit that is Vicki.
Darling, thank you for buckling on my armor.
Well, we're in for it now, darling. I've rung the doorbell. Now, just remember that faculty wives are merely...
Toddy, darling, that's our doorbell, and you didn't ring it.
I didn't? You mean you did? Ah, brave girl. Now you're getting yourself in hand.
No, Toddy. That's our doorbell. Come on home, dear.
Home? Well, then what is... Oh, our doorbell. Yes, well, Penny will answer it. I'm sorry if I was being absent-minded again.
That's all right, Toddy. But next time, don't squeeze my arm quite so hard. Mr. Savada will think you've been beating me.
Savada? Oh, yes, good heavens. I must get out of here. It'll be less embarrassing for him if he doesn't see me.
Oh, Toddy, please don't go. Get me out of this.
You trust me, Victoria. I'll think of something. I hope. Somebody's got to think of something.
Mr. Savada, Mum.
Yes, thank you, Penny. Well, come along in, Mr. Savada. Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
It's, lovely weather, isn't it? May I improvise you... may I get you some milk and cookies?
I'm not a child.
I'm sorry.
Please don't be sorry. I wouldn't hurt you for anything in the world.
Well, thank you. You're very gallant. I've been told you're leaving school. Why?
I think it best. Staying here near you is... Well, I'm not made of marble, you know. If I thought there was even a remote possibility. But there isn't, is there?
Well, I think not. Aside from every other consideration, I happen to love my husband deeply.
I don't see how you can.
You don't?
No. Why, he's old enough to be my father.
How old do you suppose I am?
Just the right age. Victoria. I may call you Victoria, may I not?
Yes, you do.
Victoria, what does he have that I haven't got? I'll match my IQ against his any time.
Well, it's not a question of intelligence, Merton.
Maybe you think I couldn't support you. I have assets. I'm writing a book, and I could sell my butterfly collection, and I get a regular weekly allowance.
No, it isn't that at all, believe me. I know, we all know, how capable you are, and what a fine career you're certain to have.
Do you think he's handsomer than I am? Because I can promise you that someday I'll be just as distinguished at the temples as he is. Runs in the family.
Yes, I'm sure of it. I consider you an extremely presentable young man. And I know that someday you'll meet the right girl and be very happy, and then I hope...
Then there's nothing I can say that will make you reconsider.
Merton, tell me, what did you imagine a relationship with me would be like?
I know what it would be like. I've thought of it 1,000,000 times.
Tell me.
Well, he'd always be around. And he'd wave to me when I left for school in the morning. And we'd go to theaters and concerts together. And I'd tell you things, and you'd tell me things. And it would be so wonderful.
I think I'm beginning to understand.
Are you really?
Yes. Merton, tell me something. But look deeply into your heart and reflect a moment before answering.
I will.
Is it really a sweetheart you want? Isn't it really a mother? There. Come on now. That's it. You're all right. Come over here. Take my handkerchief. Give me your hand.
Oh, Mrs. Hall. Mrs. Hall.
Yes, I want to know how it is. Merton, believe me, I do. Well, I used to cry myself to sleep for a mother I never knew. I lost mine when I was still a baby. Now, at least you have a mother.
Yes, I guess that's right. I suppose it's childish to be so lonely.
No, it isn't childish at all. Well, I think one has to be pretty self-centered not to be lonely. But now that you realize that it is just loneliness...
Well, Victoria, and how did... Oh, well, excuse me. Hello, Savada.
Hello, Dr. Hall. Well, the reason I was holding your wife's hand, Doctor, is...
No, please. That requires no explanation, Savada. The impulse to hold my wife's hand is practically universal. And I didn't mean to intrude. I just came in here to... what did I come in here for? Oh, yes. I was mending a kite, and I wanted some string from the desk drawer, some kite string. It was in this desk. I'm sorry if I seem to be babbling.
William, there are miles of string in the kitchen. Ask Penny.
Well, I won't require miles, darling. I'm not trying to break the record, whatever it is.
It's 21,120 feet.
What?
The altitude record for kites. 21,120 feet.
Oh.
Established in November 1905 at the Prussian Aeronautical Observatory.
Thank you. Are you a kite flyer?
No, kites are for children.
Really?
I think you're wrong, Merton. Dr. Hall is certainly not a child, and he finds it most difficult at times to fly them.
Probably uses the wrong amount of string.
I do not use the wrong amount of string. I use approximately 900 feet to every 10 square feet of lifting surface.
Too little by far from what I know of the theory.
Well, indeed, let me tell you something.
Merton, now, please, may I suggest that instead of merely discussing it, you both go out to the field tomorrow morning and there determine who is right and who is wrong.
Well, now, that seems... Isn't he leaving school?
Are you, Merton?
I suppose I could put it off for a day.
Oh, it may take weeks to settle this matter. What do you say, Merton? Can you put off leaving for more than one day?
I guess so. I mean, yes, of course. We can go out together every Saturday morning, all three of us.
Exactly.
I think I'll stay.
I'm delighted, Mr. Savada. Confused, but delighted.
Well, come along, dear, and sit down.
Thank you. I trust, Savada, you won't think me intrusive if I hold my wife's other hand.
No, sir.
Good. Now then, are you acquainted with aerodynamics?
Yes, sir. What kind of a kite do you fly? Flat or box?
Flat. I like a...
Try a box.
What do you mean? What...
I say that because theoretically four-plane surfaces
But
versus
four-plane
a single-plane
surfaces don't give you-
surface gives you a lifting potential far greater
Yes,
than...
but against that you have added weight, as I've worked it out mathematically.
The
you
added
can't-
weight, Doctor, when you consider the applied theory...
Yes, I know,
of
my boy, but the
gravity.
theory of flight in heavier than aircraft presupposes that a split current of air... I was curious. I tasted it. Now I know why Schlitz is the beer that made Milwaukee famous.
And now here again are Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman.
Well, I hope young Merton Savada will be all right now.
Oh, yes, Toddy, he was just lonely. And all alone bewept his outcast state.
That's all very well, my dear, but you know, Mr. Shakespeare really wrote that sonnet for lovers like you and me. Oh, I think of it often when in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate, wishing me like to one more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's scope, with what I most enjoy contented least. Yet in these thoughts, myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, and that's you, Vicki. And then my state, like to the lark at break of day arising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love remembered, such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings.
Thank you, darling. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
We'll be seeing you next week at this time at the Halls of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman. The other players were Henry Blair, Gloria Gordon, and Barney Phillips. Tonight's script was written by Walter Brown Newman and Don Quinn. Music was composed and conducted by Henry Russell. The Halls of Ivy was created by Don Quinn, directed by Nat Wolf, and presented by the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Ken Carpenter speaking.
Oh, we love the halls of ivy that surround us here today, and we will not forget though we be far, far away.
Now, hear we the people over most of these NBC stations.
Dennis Day. Dennis Day is brought to you by Colgate Dental Cream and Luster Cream Shampoo. Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth. Luster Cream, the cream shampoo for true hair loveliness. The Dennis Day Show with Barbara Eiler, Dink Trout, John Brown, Charles Dant and the orchestra, and yours truly, Vern Smith, is written by Frank Galen and stars our popular young singer in A Day in the Life of Dennis Day.
Well, it sure is mighty nice riding out here on the range, but I reckon I'd better head for home. Come on, old paint, let's get it going, boy. Whoa, boy! Whoa! mercy! Whoa! Well, what do you know? Somebody put glue on the saddle.
I always wish that I could be a cowboy, riding and a roping where the wind is free. But now I wish that I was not a cowboy, 'cause look what's gone and happened to me. I can't get off of my horse. All day and night I ride among the cattle. I can't get off of my horse, 'cause some dirty dog put glue on the saddle. Someday they'll bury me out on the prairie, out far among the sagebrush where the skies are blue. But when they dig a place for me to rest in, they'd better make it big enough for two, 'cause I can't get off of my horse. All day and night I ride among the cattle. I can't get off of my horse, 'cause some dirty dog put glue on the saddle. On the saddle, on the saddle, on the saddle. Some no good ornery, low down, sneaking, thieving, cussing, cattle rustling, dirty dog put glue on the saddle.
You know something? I feel like saying a discouraging word.
A very special tip on hair appeal, girls, from famous beauty authority KIBM. Lovely hair, shining with natural highlights and shadows, sparkling with silken softness, inviting with clean fragrance. That's the natural hair appeal that men prefer. And now such natural hair appeal can be yours with one touch of magic, Luster Cream Shampoo. Not a soap, not a liquid. Luster Cream Shampoo is an amazing new dainty cream that whips up like magic in harder soft water into a mild, gentle lather that sweeps dullness away. Out of her wealth of cosmetic lore, KIBM blended gentle lanolin with special secret ingredients to achieve this delightful new cream that leaves your hair so easy to manage, so soft and shining with the natural appeal that men love. Ask for the economical dollar jar of Luster Cream Shampoo at your cosmetic counter. Also 30-cent and 55-cent sizes. Discover the secret that women and girls of all ages are learning everywhere. There's a world of glamour in each dainty jar of Luster Cream, the cream shampoo for true hair loveliness. Well, a great many people go through life complaining of their bad breaks, and some of them quite justifiably. But have you ever considered the awful plight of our young hero? Out of over 2 billion inhabitants of this earth, he's the only one who is Dennis Day. Yes, that's trouble enough for any man, a point he's now impressing upon his girlfriend, Mildred Anderson.
Gee, I get so darn discouraged, Mildred.
Oh, now you mustn't, Dennis. You've still got me, and I'd be proud to be your wife no matter what you were earning.
No, Mildred, I can't even afford to buy a wife the necessities of life, much less the little things other women have, like shoes.
Well, it won't always be this way. I know it won't. Doesn't Mr. Willoughby hold out any hope for the future?
Oh, sure. He says I could make more money right now if I'd help him swing the deal, but I don't know Mr. Harding, and anyway,
Wait a minute. What deal? Who's Mr. Harding?
Oh, he's the president of the Seattle, San Antonio, Montreal Railroad.
A railroad president?
Yeah, and Mr. Willoughby wants me to think of a way he can sell him his property on Maple Avenue.
Mr. Willoughby wants you to think of a way?
Yeah, he says he's tried everything a normal mind could conceive.
But why should Mr. Willoughby think Mr. Harding could use his property?
Well, it's got something to do with a new right-of-way.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I didn't even know what a right-of-way was until Mr. Willoughby explained it. I thought it was something that unless you're crazy, you give to another driver if she's a woman.
Well, this must be a new right-of-way for Mr. Harding's railroad. And Mr. Willoughby's promised you a raise if you can help him, huh?
Yeah, he's pretty safe, don't you think?
I do not. Dennis, you're going to sell that property to Mr. Harding for him.
Me?
Well, why not? All you have to do is go to this Mr. Harding and talk to him personally.
Oh, no, Mildred, really,
What's the matter with you, Dennis? You have absolutely no confidence in yourself.
Well, who's got a better right?
Dennis, he isn't an ogre. He's just a man like yourself. All you have to...
Oh, good morning, Mr. Anderson.
Good morning, my boy. Morning, Mildred.
Hi, Daddy. Did Mother make her train all right?
Yes, the chief pulled out with the chief at 7:47.
Well, that's good. Daddy, you've got to help me. I'm having trouble with Dennis.
Trouble?
Yes, can you imagine a person being afraid to talk up to another person?
Why, no. Not since 7:47.
Well, you see, Mildred wants me to call on a railroad president and sell him some property of my boss's, Mr. Anderson. But, gee, this Mr. Harding is such a big shot.
Well, what if he is, my boy? All you have to do is act like a big shot, too.
Who, me?
Sure. Now, I'll show you what I mean. Now, I'll pretend I'm you, and you act like this big shot railroad president would, okay?
Okay.
All right, now, here we go. Mr. Harding, I want to see you.
Just who are you, young man?
My name is Dennis Day.
Drop dead.
No, Dennis. He wouldn't say that. He'd certainly be polite.
Okay, please drop dead.
Oh, he wouldn't say anything of the kind. He'd say, come in and talk, young man. I like your spunk.
To me?
Well, certainly.
Boy, are we pretending.
I'm sure Daddy's right, Dennis, if you'll just try to be a little aggressive.
Absolutely. Firmness, that's what you need. Now, say it like I do. Mr. Harding, I want to talk to you.
Mr. Harding, I want to talk to you.
Not my voice, Dennis, my tone. Now, say it again, and for heaven's sake, try to be aggressive.
It's no use, Mr. Anderson. I've got too much you in me.
Dennis Day, you've got to go through with this. You've been a tame little kitten long enough. It's about time you began to act a little more like a tiger.
A tiger?
A tiger. If you want to be convinced it's the only way, go down to the store and try it out on Mr. Willoughby.
On Mr. Willoughby?
Say, that's not a bad idea, my boy. Now, all you have to remember is not to let your courage run away from you.
Oh, it won't. The rest of me will be going much too fast for that. Dennis Day, you're a tiger. Dennis Day, you're a tiger. Dennis Day, you're a tiger. Well, here goes. Mr. Willoughby?
Yes, Dennis.
What was that? That was my new personality coming out, Willoughby.
Well, put it back in and start mopping the floor.
Mopping the floor? Why, that makes me laugh. You're playing with dynamite, Willoughby.
Huh?
You heard me. I'm not a tame little kitten anymore. I'm a great big hungry tiger. And from now on, I'm going to act like a tiger.
Dennis, don't you like your job here anymore?
Oh, yes, sir.
Well?
Well, I just wanted you to know that while I'm mopping up, you might hear a little snarling.
It's more like it. What came over you, anyway?
Oh, I was just trying to develop a new personality for your sake, Mr. Willoughby. I'm going to take over the Harding deal for you.
You're going to take it over?
It sounded less fantastic when I said it.
Sound fantastic if anyone said it.
But it isn't. I can be a firm, aggressive salesman when I want to be, Mr. Willoughby. I'll just march up to him and say, Mr. Harding, you need Mr. Willoughby's property because... because... Say, maybe he doesn't need it.
Now, look, Dennis, I asked you to think of an idea, but that's all. I don't want you messing up this deal, you understand? Stay away from it.
But, Mr.
That's
Willoughby...
final, Dennis. You're a fine floor mopper. And you carry out an excellent pail of garbage. That's where your talents end.
Yes, sir.
Which reminds me, when you're through with the floor and the garbage, I have an errand for you. Do you know where the express office is?
No, sir.
Good. Drive over there in my car and pick up 2 cases of Kalac water for the store.
But, Mr. Willoughby, if I don't know where it is...
It'll take you that much longer to get back. Goodbye, my boy.
And so our young hero sadly busied himself with the floor and the garbage. And when these menial tasks were concluded, he was off in Mr. Willoughby's car to do his errand. And as our hero drove toward the express office, the bitterness within him, that not wanted feeling, grew stronger with each block. The depressing knowledge that he... Hey, wait a minute. Is there something wrong with that front wheel? Well, yes, it's loose. Dennis, watch it. It's coming off. Dennis, look out!
Where am I?
It's all right, Dennis. I'm here with you. You've been in a smash-up.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. I remember now. Gee, I'm in a hospital, huh?
Yes, you were brought here after they picked you up.
Mildred, did they pick up all of me?
Of course, silly. You're all right. The doctor says you can leave in an hour or two. You were just unconscious from shock.
Mildred, what about Mr. Willoughby's car? Is it...
Yes, it's a complete wreck, Dennis. I just phoned him.
He should be regaining consciousness pretty soon, too.
Oh, you should have heard him, Dennis. He said he'll be waiting for you the minute you get out of the hospital.
Oh, Mildred, stand on that chair.
On the chair? What for?
You're going to kick me right in the appendix.
Don't be silly, Dennis. There's got to be a way out of this.
Mildred, this time I'm afraid I'm finished. That car will cost $500 to replace, and if I know Mr. Willoughby, it's either that or jail.
Perhaps I can help you, young man.
Huh? Who said that?
Why, it's the man in the next bed, the one completely wrapped in bandages.
Yes, your conversation just now gave me an idea.
Oh, I see. Would you mind pointing your face in my direction, sir, so I can tell which end of you is talking to me?
Not at all, my boy. Permit me to introduce myself. My name is William Harding.
William Harding? Not the William Harding, the president of the Seattle, San Antonio, and Montreal Railroad.
That's right.
Good golly. The one man in the whole world I wanted most to see. And here I am talking to him, face to bandage.
Mr. Harding, did you really say you might be able to help Dennis out of the trouble he's in?
I'd for a check for $600 right now. Enough to pay for that car and still have something left over. Providing he agrees to impersonate me for a period of 10 days.
Impersonate you?
I beg pardon, Mr. Harding, but are those bandages covering a big hole in your head?
No. You see, I'm having a little domestic difficulty with my wife. There's another...
Woman, if you'll pardon the expression?
You're a man of the world. Well, my doctor has told me I must have 10 days of rest and quiet, or he won't answer for the consequences. So I can't have these two descending on me here at the hospital. However, if it's reported that I'm not here, but back at my
But,
office...
Mr. Harding, Dennis probably doesn't look anything like you.
My dear, I've been in a bad accident. This boy is about my build, and a good make-up man could do wonders with a gray wig, dark glasses, a little paraffin here and there, and a bandage or two. Nobody expects me to look exactly as I did.
Oh, golly, Dennis, this may be the answer to our prayers. I'll bet you can look like Mr. Harding.
Mildred, this is ridiculous. I don't want to look like someone else.
But it's only for 10 days. And besides, Mr. Harding may have been a very handsome man.
What do I care about a different type of good looks? I'm happy as I am. No, Mildred, I won't do it. I won't.
Just think, who'll be waiting outside of this hospital for you?
You mean?
Yes, Mr. Willoughby.
Okay, send for my face.
Good boy.
Well, this is as far as I can go with you, Dennis. Here's Mr. Harding's offices.
Gosh, I hope this works. Do I really look like him?
Your makeup's perfect. Only remember to stay out of warm places. You know what the man said about your nose melting.
Believe me, I'll never stick it into a hotter corner than this. Well, goodbye, Mildred.
Goodbye, dear, and lots of luck.
Why, Mr. Harding.
Hello.
Oh, I can't tell you how wonderful it is to see you back with us, Mr. Harding.
Thanks. It's nice to be back, Miss, Jones.
Williams.
Oh, yes, sorry. You've been with me such a short time.
9 years.
Oh, of course. Sorry, not quite myself yet. Well, I guess I'd better step into my private office here.
Oh, not that door, Mr. Harding.
Huh? Oh, yes. For a minute, I didn't see the sign.
This is your office right here. Are you sure you're all right, Mr. Harding? You seem so different somehow.
Well, naturally. Terrible accident, you know. Whole locomotive blew up.
Yes, I know. But your voice, it's changed completely.
Oh, didn't they tell you? Smokestack hit me right in the throat. Well, I better get down to business, Miss Williams.
Yes, sir. Now, first, there's the case of Miss Shirley Dolan.
I'm in alone, Miss Williams.
Oh, but Miss Dolan's case is very important. We fired her, and she claims we had no right to. She says she's a member of the Railroad Brotherhood.
The Railroad Brotherhood?
Oh, yes.
Well, really, that girl's mother should have a talk with her.
Mr. Harding, are you sure they didn't let you out of that hospital too soon?
Certainly not. Well, that's all, Miss Williams.
Oh, there's one other thing that's really important, Mr. Harding. It's the track foreman on Section 12. He's worried about the grades there. What would you advise, sir?
Oh, I don't care. Give them all A's and B's.
Mr. Harding, really, you should go home.
Hello? Who? Joyce at Grove City? Have I decided to build a round house there? Well, don't be silly. If I build it, it'll be a square one like everybody else's. All right, Miss Williams, you may go now.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And please, sir, do take it easy.
Well, Dennis, my boy, so far so good. If you can fool a dame who's known you for 9 years, you can fool anyone. This may be my... Miss Williams, I told you... Oh, you're not Miss Williams.
Billy! Oh, darling! Dearest darling!
I take it we've met before, ma'am?
Billy, don't mock me that way. Aren't you even going to kiss me?
Take it easy, kid. My wife may drop in any minute.
Your wife? But I'm your wife.
Oh. How do?
Oh, Billy, why must you toy with me like this? If you don't care about me, at least think of Bernice.
Bernice?
Our daughter.
Oh, that Bernice.
Well, she cried into her pillow all last night. And do you know why, Billy?
She couldn't find her handkerchief?
Oh, Billy, what's wrong? You speak so strangely. You look at me so strangely.
I'm doing the best I can, dear. This is no cinch.
Billy, what did that accident do to you? I never heard you talk like this. Pardon me, Mr. Hart. Oh, am I interrupting?
Yeah, it's a pleasure. What's up, Miss Williams?
Well, it's that Mr. Willoughby, sir. He's here again about some property. He's been here every day this week. Shall I have him leave?
Oh, no. Tell him I'll meet him back at his store in 15 minutes. Well, too bad, dear. I'd like to spend more time with you, but it looks like some business has come up.
Oh, I thought maybe... Well, today's the 24th, you know, the day I always buy flowers for my mother.
Yeah, too bad I can't go with you. Why don't you buy her a nice gardenia corsage?
A corsage?
Sure. The old girl will get a big kick out of it.
Oh, you beast. You know perfectly well that Mother passed away in 1922.
Gosh, well, in that case, I guess you wouldn't get a kick out of anything.
Yes, sir?
Mr. Willoughby, I'm William Harding.
Mr. Harding, you did come. Oh, you don't know how happy this makes me. Sit down, sir.
Thanks, Willoughby.
A cigar, perhaps, a little liquid refreshment, or possibly I can offer you a piece of this excellent Page and Shaw candy?
No, thank you. I don't smoke, drink, or enjoy myself. I'm here to discuss your property.
Oh, yes, sir, my property?
Well, I don't know, Willoughby.
Oh, please, Mr. Harding, please, sir, consider. After all, I'm practically an employee of yours.
You're an employee of mine?
Well, everybody knows that you're the biggest stockholder in the Weaverville National Bank, and, of course, the bank owns this building, so you might say I'm your employee.
By Jove, I believe we will say that.
Mr. Harding, what is this look of wild elation on your face?
Willoughby, this place is filthy. Get to work scrubbing that floor.
Huh?
You heard me hot.
Now, see here.
About your property...
Yes, sir, I'll get a scrubbing brush right away.
I want a real job, Willoughby. You'll use a toothbrush. property, Willoughby.
Whatever you say, sir.
I understand you have a boy working here who usually takes care of the floor and the garbage. I understand also that he's very badly underpaid.
Well, but Mr. Harding...
Willoughby, I'll consider your property on only one condition. This boy must have a good raise. He's entitled to eat well, live properly, buy good clothes, and run a small car.
Yes, sir. How much should I pay him?
$12 a week.
Yes, sir.
And I want that in writing, Willoughby. I won't even talk about the property until I get it.
Yes, sir, if you say so. I'll take care of it right this minute, Mr. Harding.
Boy, this is really living. I should have thought of a new face long ago. Why, I could have had all the...
Billy, chérie, mon petit chouchou, my beautiful, lovely Billy.
Huh?
Oh, Billy, what is the matter with you? It is me, your little Madeleine.
Oh, you mean... Gee, you're French, huh?
But of course I'm French. What did that accident do to your head? Don't you remember how we used to talk in French for hours?
Oh, sure, man, appetit.
Oh, you darling. Vous n'avez pas besoin d'être si insolente avec moi parce que vous n'êtes même pas venu me voir pendant que j'étais à l'hôpital, n'est-ce pas?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you silly, silly boy. Come here, Billy.
Hey, wait a minute.
Put your arm around me, Billy. Come on, and kiss me, and kiss me.
No, please, this face would never stand up under it.
But, Billy, I don't understand.
Oh, pardon me, Mr. Harding. I didn't know you had a visitor.
Oh, that's all right, Mr. Willoughby. This is a girl I'm pretty sure I go steady with.
I beg your pardon?
So, she did follow you here. I caught you two together at last, eh?
What right have you to object? Billy is mine.
How dare you? I'm his wife.
Oh, but it is me, love.
What?
Perhaps I'd better leave.
Oh, no, please, stay and keep me company.
Billy, you come here.
Don't you listen to her, Billy. You're mine.
Yours? Oh, he spent every day for the last 5 years with me. Is that not true, Billy?
If you say so.
Oh, yes. Well, he spent every night of the last 10 years in our home. Isn't that true, Billy?
You bet. Gee, I wonder how I ever got time to run the railroad.
And I'm taking him. He belongs to me.
And I say he belongs to me.
Oh, is that so? Come here, Billy.
You take your hands off him. Come here, Billy.
Girls, please, you're getting awfully grabby.
He's mine, I say. Now let go of him.
I will not. I'll show you.
Hey, wait, don't hit her.
So, you're taking her part, eh? All right, take that.
Ooh. Why, how dare you hit my Billy in the... Why, Billy, your nose came off.
That's a wig he's wearing. This isn't my husband.
Dennis! Why, you...
Mr. Willoughby, believe me, I can...
Forced me to give you a raise, huh? Wanted me to scrub my own floor with a toothbrush. I suppose you also wanted me to carry out the garbage.
Oh, no, sir. I'll go right in and get to work on it.
Yes, do that. Only we're not carrying it out in pails anymore. We have a new system. Here.
Oh, my gosh, a pair of tweezers.
Dennis Day will be back in just a moment with a song. But first, here's the fact worth knowing.
Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth.
And that's important, as our Colgate players are going to demonstrate. Scene, a party, with everyone in a conga line, except our Colgate leading man. Why? Let's find out.
Come on, Bill, get into line. No use wasting a waist, especially a waist like Judy's.
You can say that again, chum. But Judy's been signaling me to keep my distance. Sure wish I knew why.
Oh, you're out of step with Judy because of just one thing, Bill. And for the straight dope on that, you better see your dentist.
And here's what Bill found out.
Scientific tests prove that in 7 out of 10 cases, Colgate Dental Cream instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth. And Colgate Safe Polishing Agent brings out the natural sparkle of your teeth, cleans them thoroughly and safely.
Yes, Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth.
And Colgate Dental Cream is famous for its wonderful wake-up flavor, too. Nationwide tests of leading toothpastes prove that Colgate's is preferred for flavor over other brands tested.
So to clean your teeth thoroughly and safely, for a wake-up flavor everyone enjoys, use Colgate Dental Cream. Remember, Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth. With Charles Dant and the orchestra, here's Dennis to sing one of his most recent RCA Victor recordings, Christmas Dreaming.
I'm doing my Christmas dreaming a little early this year. No sign of snow.
Remember, doctors prove the Palmolive plan brings 2 out of 3 women lovelier complexions in 14 days. And this beauty plan with Palmolive soap was tested on women with all types of skin. Dry, oily, even skin that was not clear. Yes, 36 doctors proved the 14-day Palmolive plan improves all types of skin, brings fresher, brighter, younger-looking complexions. So get Palmolive soap and start your 14-day Palmolive plan now.
This is Vern Smith reminding you that if your community did not observe daylight saving time, the Dennis Day program may be heard starting next week at a different time, so consult your local newspaper. Good night.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
From Hollywood, the Mel Blanc Show, brought to you each week by the Colgate Palmolive Peat Company, makers of Colgate Tooth Powder for a breath that's sweet and teeth that sparkle. Colgate Tooth Powder for a breath that's sweet and teeth that sparkle brings you Mel Blanc in his own Fix-It shop with Mary Jane Croft, Earl Ross, Joe Kearns, Hans Conried, Victor Miller and his orchestra, and Mel himself playing that delightful character Zookie. Here he is, the star of our show, Mel Blanc. It's early morning in the Fix-It shop, and like any other wide-awake businessman, Mel is getting a clear picture of what's going on in town. No, he isn't reading a paper. He doesn't have to, as long as Mr. Snoop, the gossipy postman, pays his daily visit.
Any mail for me, Mr. Snoop? Now, don't rush me, Mel. I'm having trouble with my mail bag again. All bursted out to the seams.
Well, okay. Let me have it. I'll fix it.
Oh, thank you, Mel. Never saw such uninteresting mail as I have this morning.
It's too bad Esquire only comes out once a month, huh?
I see Mr. Blodgett's liver is acting up again. Got a bill here for him from his doctor.
Hey, how can you tell so much about everybody from the mail?
Oh, tell most anything, Mel, just by looking at the envelope. Why, you know I followed the courtship of Widow Parker and her fella for 5 years. At first, all the letters was airmail, special delivery.
Couldn't wait to be together, huh?
Yeah. And then they started squabbling. Letters began coming just plain airmail, then regular mail. Yes, sir, I knew just the day they called it quits, too. You know how?
Started writing postcards.
No. A letter come. 2 cents postage due.
Okay, Mr. Snoop, here's your bag.
Oh, thank you.
Now, how about my mail?
Oh, you got just a postcard this morning, Mel. Let me see what it said. A community chess drive announces the appearance of Betty Rhodes at the Municipal Auditorium. And, can't make out the small type here on the bottom. Left my glasses to hum.
Well, don't take it to heart, Mr. Snoop. I can read my own mail.
You know, today's mail is full of these here postcards. Got one here for your girl kid brother, Tommy.
Oh, sure. Tommy's president of the Betty Rhodes fan club in town.
I was talking to some of the kids. They want a whole little party for Miss Rhodes. They can't find a place.
Say, wait a minute.
What's the matter, Mel?
Why don't I talk to Tommy and tell him they can get together with Miss Rhodes right here in the fix-it shop?
Oh, I don't know. You know, Miss Rhodes is a pretty big star. That's why the kids are so particular.
Oh, my girl Betty's always saying I ought to get some publicity for the fix-it shop. This is my big chance. I'll get the place all cleaned up for him.
Oh, still don't know.
Well, I'll tell Tommy I know Miss Rhodes, that we went to school together.
Did you?
Well, in a way. Of course, they were different schools. Oh, but you gotta use a little imagination in this business.
Well, I wish you luck. Sure like that song Miss Rhodes sings in the jukebox in Thompson's ice cream parlor. Rumors are flying, there's no denying.
Yeah, rumors are flying. Might be a good song for you, Mr. Snoop.
It might be if I wasn't one for minding my own business. Well, so long, Mel. Rumors are flying.
Goodbye, Mr. Snoop. Hiya, Tommy.
Oh, say, Mel, is that true what you said on the phone? Yeah, I mean about knowing Betty Rhodes personally?
Well, I don't like to brag,
Oh,
but...
gosh, my future brother-in-law is really solid. Right on the beam. Hey, man, slip me some skin.
Huh?
Well, you dig me, don't you? I said, slip me some skin.
Where am I going to get some? I'm wearing all I got.
Oh, boy, are you booty.
Booty?
Well, yeah, you know. Mellow Rooney.
Oh, that explains everything.
Well, now you take Betty Rhodes. Oh, of course, I don't have to tell you, you being such an old friend.
Of course.
Say, you know what makes her such a nickel snatcher at the jukeboxes?
Booty?
Right. She's a reet sweet with a mellow beat. Don't you agree?
Oh, but definitely. I think. But look, Tommy, how about my proposition?
Oh, it's a deal. Miss Rhodes will meet her fan club here in the Fix-It Shop this afternoon at 4 o'clock.
Good boy, Tommy.
Oh, and I'll send our secretary, Ruthie Nelson, over with the phonograph, and she'll help you clean up the shop, too.
Fine.
Well, so long, Mel. Everything's gonna be just Lucy.
Sure. Booty. Why not? Miss Rhodes will come in. I'll say, hello, Betty. She'll have to say hello to me. We will know each other. It's simple. But if it's so simple, why am I so scared?
Mel, is it true what everybody's saying, that you're a personal friend of Miss Rhodes?
Oh, that. Well, you see, Betty...
We've heard her on the jukebox so many times, and you never even told me.
Oh, I guess it just slipped my mind, honey.
Oh, I know. You were afraid I might be jealous. Now, weren't you?
Well...
Of course, that's it. But, darling, I don't mind at all. I think it's wonderful. Why, even Father was impressed when Tommy told him. You know what Daddy said?
No, but I can guess. He probably went...
That's right. But this time he meant it affectionately.
I don't know. How can you bite somebody's head off affectionately?
Well, tell me, Mel, what's Betty Rhodes like?
Well, honey, she's, a girl.
You certainly don't miss a thing, do you?
Well, she's, Booty.
What?
Yeah, she's a reed sweet with a mellow beat.
What?
And you can take my word for it, too.
Well, I don't know if I like you knowing her that well.
Oh, honey, I'm just doing this to get some publicity for the fix-it shop.
Well, anyway. Oh, yes, I almost forgot.
What's that?
Well, Daddy's coming over here, and he said that since you know Miss Rhodes so well, there's a big favor you can do for him.
Well, isn't he a little too old for autographs?
Oh, darling. No, it's something else. He was very secretive about it. He said if all this is true, he'll be your friend for life.
Gosh, that would be swell.
But he said if all this was a gag, he'd...
Yeah, I know. And he's strong enough to do it, too.
Of course, I told him it couldn't be a gag. That'd be silly.
Ridiculous.
Well, darling, I'll see you this afternoon when Miss Rhodes gets here. I can hardly wait. Bye.
So long, honey. Gosh, how am I going to do any favor for Mr. Colby when I never even saw Miss Rhodes in my life? Well, I'm going through with it anyway. When she comes in, I'll just step up like an old friend, and I'll say, "Hello, Rhodesy." I know the exact words I'm going to use. Gosh, I wonder what word she's going to use. Oh, no, she couldn't. She's too much of a lady.
Use Colgate tooth powder. Keep smiling just right. Use it each morning and use it each night.
Don't take a chance with your romance.
Use Colgate tooth powder.
A breath of trouble dims your chance of being someone's big romance. Do you think that this breath of trouble, unpleasing breath, could be hurting your romance? Let Colgate tooth powder help you. Just do this. Brush your teeth night and morning and before every date with Colgate tooth powder. For Colgate tooth powder cleans your breath as it cleans your teeth. Yes, scientific tests have definitely proved that in 7 cases out of 10, Colgate tooth powder instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth. What's more, no dentifrice at any price cleans your teeth more quickly and thoroughly than Colgate tooth powder. Remember to buy it first thing, and remember the name Colgate tooth powder with the accent on powder.
Don't take a chance with your romance.
Use Colgate tooth powder.
Well, Mel's decided to get some publicity for his fix-it shop, and so he told a little white lie about knowing Betty Rhodes personally. Mel's girlfriend is duly impressed, and even her father, Mr. Colby, is beginning to see Mel in a different light.
Hello, Mr. Colby. What was that, Mr. Colby? Yeah, it is kind of warm in here.
Mel, is it true what they're saying, Tommy, Betty, everybody, about you and Betty Rhodes being such good friends?
Well, sure, that's right.
I wouldn't be surprised if she was an old flame of yours, huh?
Oh, not exactly a flame. Just sort of a flicker.
Well, anyway, that's good. That's wonderful. There's something you can do for me, son.
Son? Gosh, Mr. Colby, you just called me son.
Well, now, Mel, don't I always call you son?
Yeah, but that's only the beginning. Son do this and son do that.
Yes. Well, between you and me, Mel, between you and me, I am not just a manager of a supermarket. There's a side of me even you haven't seen.
Oh, you probably look the same on both sides.
Yes. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be a songwriter. Why, 20 years ago, for instance, I just missed the Wheel of Fortune.
You did?
Yeah. I wrote a song, but it flopped. Someone had written Who Threw the Overalls in Mrs. Murphy's Chowder.
Well, what was the name of your song?
Who Dunked the Pajamas in Mr. Colucci's Minestrone. Yes, everybody steals my ideas, but now I have a new song, and nobody can steal this one.
Why not?
Hasn't got a title. Oh, Melvin, my son, you get Betty Rhodes to sing it, and I'll do anything I can for you.
But, Mr. Colby...
if you mess it up, you know what that means.
Yeah. Gosh, it's getting warmer in here all the time.
Well, son, can I depend on you?
Sure, I'll tell Rhodesy.
Rhodesy?
You must know her real well. That's great.
How does your song go?
Oh, 2 eyes of a blue, a heart that is so true.
Blue-hoo, true-hoo?
Yes, like it.
Well, it sounds like a great song for a hoot owl.
Huh?
Well, you know, it sounds a little familiar.
Of course it does. I just sang it to you.
Oh. Well, okay, Mr. Colby. I'll tell Rhodesy all about it.
Oh, fine. I'll be here to sing it for her myself. 2 eyes of blue, a heart that is a true.
Nephew, now I have heard everything.
Did you hear Mr. Colby?
Yes, and how can he yell like that with no one beating him?
Gosh, Uncle Rupert, I think I'm getting a little nervous.
Here. You better let your old uncle give you a little advice about the right approach when you meet a lady of the theater.
Oh, please, I'm in enough trouble.
For instance, when I used to wait at the stage door for Lillian Russell every night, I was the very epitome of courtliness and gallantry.
So you've told me.
Why, when that great lady came out of the theater, I'd meet her with a low bow, and I'd guide her gently to her carriage. I tell you, the stage door Johnnies didn't have a chance when I was around.
That's because you were the doorman.
To be sure.
Gosh, Tommy said some girl named Ruthie Nelson was going to bring a phonograph and help me tidy up the shop. Where is she?
I wouldn't worry about Ruthie Nelson, nephew. You'd better worry about Betty Rhodes.
Well, I'll let you in on a little secret. I am.
Oh, pardon me, young man. Is this the right way to Mel Blanc's Fix-It shop?
Why, sure, just around the corner. Say, aren't you Betty Rhodes?
Why, yes, uh-huh.
Oh, gosh, Betty Rhodes. Oh, gosh, I don't know what to say. You know, I seen your pictures, and Mel Blanc's Fix-It shop is just around the corner, and your old pal Mel Blanc just can't wait to see you.
Old pal? I just want him to fix my phonograph.
Oh, well, I'll see you later, Miss Rhodes.
All right, thanks a lot, Sonny. Oh, pardon me. I brought this phonograph in, and there's...
Oh, you must be Ruthie Nelson. Here's your broom. You can start sweeping out the place. Hey, where you been?
What?
Oh, Tommy sent you over for the Betty Rhodes meeting, didn't he?
Oh, you must be the one who's Betty Rhodes' old pal.
Old pal? Oh, I'm the only one who ever called her Rhodesy.
Rhodesy?
Yep. She called me Melzy.
Uh-huh.
We're practically lifelong friends. Well, look, kid, you better get busy with that broom, huh?
With a broom?
Yeah, and here's a rag. You can start dusting when you're through. Everything's got to be spick and span when she gets here. I got a big favor to ask her, Rhodesy.
Well, I'm sure you're going to get just what you're asking for, Melzy. Oh, my aching back.
What's the matter, Ruthie? Tired?
Yes, and I'm beginning to wonder if Betty Rhodes is worth all this trouble.
Oh, how can you say that? You secretary of her fan club. Here, take all this trash in the back of the shop. Zuki will tell you what to do with it.
Zuki?
Yeah, he's my assistant.
Well, okay.
Well, everything's shaping up.
Well, I guess this must be the back of the shop.
And my shad, people will say we're in love.
Are you Zuki?
Sure, I'm
Well, look, Zuki, where do I put this trash, huh?
Trash? Oh, just put it in the ash. Put it in the incinerator. Sweep it under the rug.
Say, Zuki, where did Mel meet Miss Rose?
Oh, he's only making believe. So he can get on the right side of his girl's father.
Oh, I see.
Hey, you know, I'd like to be a singer, too.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I'm not bad. Listen. One meatball. Chiquita banana. Pickle in the middle and the mushroom. Pickle in the middle.
Oh, what's the matter, Zuki?
I think I'm getting a stomach ache.
Gosh, Nell, in half a day the fix-it shop has become the talk of the town.
Yeah, honey, I guess my little publicity stunt's going over with a bang.
Tommy and the rest of the fan club should be here any minute.
Now, look, son.
Yes, Mr. Colby?
When you talk about my song to Rhodes, say it's beautiful, sensational, soul-stirring. You know, two eyes of a blue, a heart that is true.
Please, Father, not again.
Oh, hi, everybody.
Oh, Tommy.
Oh, when's Miss Rhodes going to be here, Tommy?
Be here? She's been here for 2 hours.
What?
Well, sure, I showed her how to get here. And here's her phonograph.
Oh, but that's Ruthie Nelson's.
Oh, no, it isn't. Ruthie couldn't make it. That belongs to Betty Rhodes. You see? Here are her initials. B.R.
That's Ruthie. Somebody slapped me on the back.
Something wrong, Mel? Shall I get you a glass of water?
Yeah, put some poison in it.
Oh, Mel, what's the matter?
Darling, what is it?
Hey, look, everybody, I might as well tell you. I don't know.
Well, hello, everybody.
Oh, hello, Miss Rhodes.
Well, aren't you going to say hello, Melzy?
Melzy? Look, Miss Rhodes.
Oh, Melzy. Call me Rhodesy.
Rhodesy? I must be off my nutsy.
Oh, come on now, honey. Don't be so embarrassed.
Melzy, you didn't embarrass so easily when we went to school together.
School? Huh? Oh, sure. I remember the last time I said goodbye to you, Rhodesy. You cried like a baby.
I did.
Of course, you was only 2 years old.
And just think, in the meantime, you've become a big, aggressive businessman.
Remember me? Two eyes of blue, a heart that is true. You hear something, Miss Rhodes?
Yes, frightening, isn't it?
Miss Rhodes, Rhodesy, my future father-in-law here, Mr. Colby, he's got a new song he wrote. He'd like you to sing it for him.
Oh, say, the kids will be here any minute. Let me put on your new Victor record. Rumors are flying.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Go right ahead, Tommy.
Rumors are flying that you got me sighing, that I'm in a crazy kind of a daze, a lazy sort of a haze. When I go walking, I hear people talking. They say our affair is not just a passing phase, and they whisper about the flowers you keep sending me by the dozen, and they wonder about the hours that you spend with me. It keeps them buzzing. Rumors are flying, and I'm not denying that people are sure I'm falling in love with you. 'Cause for a change, darling, all the rumors are true. And they whisper about the flowers you keep sending me by the dozen, and they wonder about the hours that you spend with me. It keeps them buzzing. Rumors are flying, and I'm not denying that people are sure I'm falling in love with you. 'Cause for a change, darling, all the rumors are true.
song you wanted me to sing?
Oh, I've been robbed again.
Daddy, where are you going?
Colby is flying. There's no denying.
Mel Blanc will be back in just a minute.
Use Colgate tooth powder, keep smiling just right. Use it each morning and use it each night. Don't take a chance with your romance. Use Colgate tooth powder.
A breath of trouble, unpleasing breath, can lose you friends and alienate people. So ask yourself if you could have this social handicap. Best thing to do is to guard against it. Brush your teeth night and morning and before every date with Colgate tooth powder. For Colgate tooth powder cleans your breath as it cleans your teeth. Yes, scientific tests have definitely proved that in 7 cases out of 10, Colgate tooth powder instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth. What's more, no dentifrice at any price cleans your teeth more quickly and thoroughly than Colgate tooth powder. Remember to buy it first thing. And remember the name Colgate tooth powder with the accent on powder.
Don't take a chance with your romance. Use Colgate tooth powder.
Gosh, we had a lot of fun tonight. Thanks, Betty Rhodes, for dropping in.
Oh, it was a pleasure, Millsy. And goodbye, Zuki.
Hello.
This is Bud Easton reminding you that Colgate tooth powder for a breath of sweet and teeth that sparkle brings you the Mel Blanc Show every Tuesday at this time. Be sure to join us again next Tuesday night for more fun with Mel and the people you'll meet in Mel Blanc's Fix-It Shop.
Say hello to Halo Shampoo for naturally bright and beautiful hair. Remember, even finest soaps and soap shampoos hide the natural luster of your hair with dulling soap film. But Halo Shampoo contains no soap, therefore leaves no dulling soap film. Even in hardest water, Halo makes oceans of rich, fragrant lather, quickly banishes loose dandruff and dirt. Halo needs no lemon or vinegar rinse. Say hello to Halo and goodbye to dulling soap film. Get Halo Shampoo at any cosmetic counter.
The Mel Blanc Show was written by David Victor and Herb Little Jr. and was produced and directed by Joe Ryan. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Mr. F.E. Boone of Lexington, Kentucky, kiddies.
The Fred Allen Show, with Fred's guests, the Metropolitan Opera star, Lauritz Melchoir, Portland Hoffa, Minerva Pius as Mrs. Nussbaum, the DeMarco sisters, and Al Goodman and his orchestra. And if you ever want to have me paged, my name is Kenny Delmar.
gentlemen, a certain news commentator starts his program saying, there's good news tonight. We start our show by saying, there's bad news tonight. And here it is. Meet Fred Allen.
Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Kenny, speaking of news, it may interest you to know that I was called to Washington this week.
Oh, still trying to get out of the draft, huh?
No. No, Kenny. General Grant straightened that out for me.
Mr. Allen!
Well, of course.
What is your question tonight?
Was your family income higher in 1944? And if it was, what accounted for the increase?
Shall we go?
As the nostril said to the Kleenex, I think I'll blow. Something tells me the Senator's home. I smell chitlings cooking.
Somebody I say, somebody not.
Yes, I know.
Claghorn's the name, Senator Claghorn, that is.
You don't have to...
I'm from the South. The only candy I eat is cotton candy.
I don't care what...
Seen Gone with the Wind 72 times.
Look, I don't care...
When I'm in New York, I refuse to drive through the Lincoln Tunnel.
Now, look, Senator.
Now, what's eating your son out with
well,
it?
I just would
your
like...
jaw keeps wagging, but nothing comes out.
Well, I don't give
You're
it...
like Charlie McCarthy without Edgar Bergen.
Well, if you just give me a...
Regular dummy. Dummy, that is.
Now, wait a minute. Put me down off your knee, Senator. Now, what about families earning more money in 1944?
Well, it ain't what people earn, son. It's what they can keep.
You mean?
Most people end up with nothing.
It's the law of averages?
It's the Ways and Means Committee.
The Ways and Means?
If you've got means, they'll find ways to get it. So long, son. So long, that is.
So long, Senator.
Don't forget, vote for Jefferson Davis.
I'll write him in. Well, you can tell the Senator's doing a whale of a job. Instead of a cane, he carries a harpoon. Oh, well, let's see if Titus Moody is here.
Howdy, Bob.
Well, you don't look so well tonight, Mr. Moody.
No.
Oh, you have sinus trouble?
Yeah. When I was a little boy, my mother used to pick me up by the nose.
Your mother picked you up by the nose?
I had small ears.
Oh, Well, I couldn't see your ears. You have your ear laps on there.
Yeah, I've been out chasing my wife.
Chasing your wife, huh?
My wife had a dog biscuit, accidental.
Ate a dog biscuit?
Yeah, last 2 nights.
Uh-huh.
She's been running up and down the road barking at strangers.
Well, about these higher wages, how did you do in 1944?
Only made one deal.
One deal, huh?
Yeah, in January, I bought a pig for $8.
I see.
Fed the pig $12 worth of swill.
Yeah.
$20 worth of mash.
Yeah.
December, I sold the pig for $40.
Now, wait a minute. If you bought the pig for $8, spent $12 for swill, that's $20. $20 more for mash, that's $40. And you say you sold the pig for only $40.
Yeah, I didn't make no money.
No?
No, but I had the use of the pig all the year. So long, Bob.
Well, Mr. Moody will never know enough to bring home the bacon, I guess. Let's see what happens at this next door.
No?
Oh, Mrs. Nussbaum.
You are expecting maybe a razzle and yuffle.
Tell me, Mrs. N, did your family make more money in 1944?
Money is all over.
Oh, really?
In the closets is money. On the shelf is money. The cat, a little pussy, is sleeping on money.
Well, with all this money, were you and Pierre both working?
I am welding with overtime.
Oh, welding, huh?
Pierre is working in the shipyard.
Fine.
He is a funnel sealer.
A funnel feeler?
Yes. When a ship is finished,
Uh-huh.
Pierre is sealing up the funnel.
Well, why should he seal up the funnel?
If nothing is in the funnel,
Yeah?
smoke can going up.
Oh, Yes. Well, what happened to all this money you made?
Pierre is buying a filling station.
Good, a filling station.
Pierre's gasoline heaven.
Gasoline.
Open 23 hours a day.
23 hours, why not 24?
A man has to sleep.
Oh. Pierre ran the whole station alone?
And what service he is giving.
You mean when a car drove up?
Pierre is running out and combing the raccoon tail on the radiator cap. Next, with a squeegee, he is cleaning the windshield.
Good.
He is waxing the chassis, putting air in the tires,
Good.
polishing the fenders.
I see.
And for the driver, he is shining the shoes, pressing the suit, and blacking the hat.
Hey, with that service, Pierre must have made a fortune.
In 2 months, he is broke.
Broke?
Pierre is so busy combing, cleaning, waxing, shining, and pressing.
Yes?
He is forgetting to sell gasoline.
And today?
He is still calling it Pierre's gasoline heaven.
Uh-huh.
But the business is going to...
I see your point.
Thank you.
Well, here we are at the last house in Allen's Alley. Let's see what happens here.
Hello, Mr. Allen.
Well, the DeMarco kids. Have you rented McGee and McGee's house?
Yes, we got it for a song.
And the song is?
It's been a long, long time.
Oh, swell.
Kiss me once and kiss me twice and kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time. Haven't felt like this before since can't remember when. It's been a long, long time. You'll never know how many dreams I dreamed about you, or just how empty they'll seem without you. So kiss me once and kiss me twice and kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time. Kiss me once, kiss me twice, and kiss me once again. It's been a long time. Haven't felt like this before since can't remember when. It's been a long, long, long time. You never know how many dreams I dreamed about you, or just how empty without you. So kiss me once and kiss me twice and kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time. It's been a long time.
Mr. Goodman has just rendered a shorthand version of It Might As Well Be Spring. That's as much music as Mr. Goodman's men can hold on their stands without crowding off their racing form. So that happens every Sunday the same way. Yes, Portland, you,
Who is our guest tonight?
Well, our guest, there's a little mix-up, Portland. I did have Balsam Bemis.
Who is Balsam Bemis?
Who is Balsam Bemis? He is the manager of the only theater in New York City that isn't showing an Ingrid Bergman picture this week. But he just called up. He can't make it tonight. His popcorn machine went haywire. It squirted 2 pounds of butter on a statue of Louis B. Mayer in the lobby. And he's there with some bread mopping up the lobby. That's what happens. Our guest stars drop out like that. We never know.
Well, is
anyone coming?
Well, Lauritz Melchoir, the big opera star, may drop in. He called me up and said that he wanted to see me.
Wasn't Mr. Melchior here 2 years ago?
Oh, it's over 2 years ago. He was griping about Sinatra making $30,000 a week. Remember? Mr. Melchior wanted me to get him on the radio.
Well, what does he want tonight?
Well, at that time, I told him to stay in opera. He became a big star, so he probably wants to thank me for giving him that advice.
This must be Mr. Melchior now.
Come in. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present Mr. Lauritz Melchior. As a lover of shellfish, Mr. Melchior, I welcome you to our little clam bake.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you.
The last time I saw you, remember, you wanted me to get you into radio.
Here I am again.
Lauritz, you mean?
Fred, you've got to get me into radio.
Radio? Why, you were one of opera's biggest stars. I went by the Metropolitan a few weeks ago. You were billed outside. There was a line.
Line wasn't for the opera, Fred.
No?
That was the end of the Paramount light waiting to see Sinatra.
Again with Sinatra. Lauritz, stop worrying about the narrow nightingale. Don't forget that you are the great Melchior.
But Sinatra makes $30,000 a week.
It's ridiculous. You, the great Wagnerian tenor, would like to be in Sinatra's shoes?
Why not? My shoes have holes in them. Look.
Gosh, you've got paper in the soles.
It's an old copy of Downbeat.
Well, what are a few holes in your shoes? In opera, you are a star.
Make me another Frankie boy.
No, Lauritz.
Another Pericomo.
No, Lauritz.
Dick Haynes.
Not even Dick Haynes. Lauritz, think back. What did I tell you 2 years ago?
You said Sinatra was just a flash in the pan.
That's right.
He's been in the pan a long time.
Lauritz, you came to me whining before. I told you to stay in opera.
And I stayed in opera.
Well?
I wish I was dead.
Lauritz, in opera you sing to audiences in top hats, evening gowns, mink windbreakers. Do you want to sing for kids in sloppy Joe sweaters and bobby socks?
But $30,000. They can fit in the union suit.
Now, Lauritz, listen to reason.
$30,000. And what does he sing?
You took some liberty with the lyrics, I see. Lauritz, who could take your place in opera? Carmen Lombardo is on the road by request. You can't give up Tannhäuser, Lohengrin, and Tristan in his shoulder.
$30,000, but...
Think of your opera tradition. What would the great Melba say if she could hear you now?
Oh, but $30,000, the great Melba would think.
I don't understand what you want in life. You have fame. You just made a picture in Hollywood, didn't you?
Yes, but I wasn't thrilled of a romance.
Thrill of a romance with Esther Williams and Van Johnson. It was a big MGM hit.
Sure. But who saw me?
Who saw you?
The men who looked at Van Johnson.
The Hollywood autograph fans didn't mob you?
Oh, just one little girl asked for my autograph.
Well, that's something.
She thought I was Edward Arnold.
Well, you did better than I did. They kept mistaking me for Thunderhead, son of Pasternak.
Fred, you've got to get me into radio.
No, Lauritz, and that is positively final.
You be my manager, Fred.
Be your manager?
We'll split the $30,000, 50-50.
And you'll never regret it, Lauritz Melchior.
When do we start?
Right now. You know, a lot of radio producers and sponsors listen to this program. Now, if you can give an audition, we might get an offer tonight. Is there something you can sing?
How about Because?
Because, fine. The Jack Benny contest theme song. I like Jack Benny. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Melchoir is now available for any and all radio engagements. After his audition song, any producers or sponsors interested in Mr. Melchoir for radio can phone us here at the Fred Allen program. Well, go ahead, Lauritz. Give it plenty of schmaltz. Was in the hall and thought it was a choir. He never heard of it. That was wonderful, Mr. Melchoir.
Any phone calls yet?
No phone calls. Keep your leotard on, Lauritz. When those phone bells start ringing, you'll think it's a good humor man with St. Vitus dance.
Fred, are you sure the telephone's
Yes, it's working, Lauritz. Now stop biting your nails. Every big producer in radio is probably fishing around for a nickel to call us. Now relax. Ah, there's the phone. Here's the first nibble, Lauritz. I've got it. Hello? Fred Allen, manager of Lauritz Melchoir speaking. You heard the audition? You want Mr. Melchoir right away? Well, I'll see. Yes, it's the 4 chicks and a chuck. They want you to fill in.
Do they want me to sing at a chick or a chuck?
Well, I'll find out. You have a choice there. Hello? Oh, you wanted to sing with 4 other people? Now listen. Mr. Melchoir sings as a soloist or not at all. Goodbye.
But Fred, it was a job. What
A job, just for 2 weeks. One of the chicks was molting. If you go into radio, Lauritz, you're not sitting on a nest singing with any group. You are singing a solo.
Fred, the telephone.
I'll get it. Hello? Oh, Mr. Manville? It's Tommy Manville, Lauritz. Yes, Mr. Manville. Hold the line. I'll see. Lauritz, do you know Oh, Promise Me?
No, Fred, I can't sing at weddings. When I open my mouth, I always get a mouthful of rice.
Well, it's a good offer, Lauritz. Not much money singing at Manville weddings, but it's steady work.
No, Fred.
Sorry, Mr. Manville. Thanks for calling. What? No, I don't know Lucy Monroe's number. Goodbye.
Maybe I should sing again.
Now, Lauritz, stop worrying. Something big will come in any minute.
Maybe we could call back the Chicks and the Chuck.
No, Lauritz.
If the next is big enough, I could sit.
Now, please, Lauritz, please. Hello? Yes, Mr. Melchoir is here. Hold it, I'll ask him. Lauritz,
yes?
Can you sing in a blonde wig and slacks?
In a blonde wig?
It's Phil Spitaldi. What shall I tell him?
Tell him my wig size is 7.5.
Yes, Phil. What? No, I won't let him sing falsetto with 14 dames. Goodbye. You're going to sing a solo or nothing.
But, Fred, I'm
hungry, Lauritz. Hello? Yes? An offer for Mr. Melchoir? What? You sing a solo? We'll be right over. Goodbye. Lauritz, this is it. Grab your hat and alpine stock.
Never mind my hat. Let us go.
All right, let's... This is the studio, Lauritz. See that sign on the door?
Radio Productions Incorporated.
Let's go in.
Can I help you, Jen?
I am Mr. Melchior's manager. This is Mr. Lauritz Melchior.
Oh, Mr. Batou, Mr. Melchior's here.
Ah, Melchior, the great Melchior, it's you.
How do you do?
Mr. Melchior, everything is ready.
Not so fast, Batou. Before we sign anything, remember Mr. Melchior will only sing a solo.
This is a solo. The orchestra's 100 musicians.
At last you're in radio, Lauritz. Are you happy?
Thanks. I can never thank you.
The studio is ready, Mr. Melchior, right through here.
And what an orchestra. What an orchestra. Toscanini personally is playing the cymbal.
We're ready, Mr. Batou.
Here is your music, Mr. Melchior. We're all set to go.
Good luck, Lauritz.
Thanks, Fred.
Quiet, everybody. Let's go. We're on the air.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the glorious voice of the great Lauritz Melchior.
Sing in the bathtub, singing for joy. Live in the light for life. I can't help singing, 'cause I know the life I really love.
This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.
Kiss me once and kiss me twice. us how empty they'll seem without you. So kiss me once, and kiss me twice, and kiss me once again.